Hello, I'm Eagle. Eagle Gardens. Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. If you didn't know, I do. I smoke weed. Welcome to Weed Nerd World. Hopefully you guys have had a great Monday and great kickoff to your week. Looking forward to hanging out with a few people, seeing where the fun goes. Holy cow, was that ball guy talking in the background? Nope. There we go. Shut that dude up. His chat popped out. Check Greenstalk. Cheers, Gus Groves. How you doing, my friend? Hillbilly. Ill Juster. Fazoli. How you doing, Mr. Greenfingers? Hope you guys are smoking some weed. Jeff Papala, how you doing, my friend? Oh, I'm definitely not high right now. I need to work on that. Blind Cat suggested this song a few days ago, and I've been rocking it out still. Joe Y, cheers, Blind Cat. Cheers, Brad. I need to work on that. I do smoke weed, but I'm not smoking weed right now. I'm working on some little nugs right here. Try to find some. You can't never see it. It's a little bit of some of that silverback gelato. Oops, sorry, Smiley, gotta finish your episode later. Oh, sorry. He does have that habit of putting them up right before the show. I don't know why this doesn't come out of Cheryl. Cheers, Mrs. Smiley. Hopefully you're paying while you're watching. Didn't miss you while you was in good old Texas. Ned Denver, cheers to you. SoCal, congratulations on that 50 subs so you can do that live. Couldn't find you. Don't know what I'm doing here yet. You definitely know what you're doing here. Ace Boo 3223. How you doing? Seymour Cuts, how you doing? Got Jack Greenstalk popping in already. Invading the Winnie Nerd. Turn this down a little bit. What up, Jack?
Not much. How you doing?
You ready to smoke some weed with me, Jack?
I am, sir. Indeed. I might be ahead of you.
What you got?
It's a phenotype of cookies called dough. Like cookie dough. DOUGH. It's from Fresh Baked out of Long Beach, California. I'd say they're like my number 2 as far as legal brands go for flower. My wife brings home a bunch of samples. This is a free sample, so it's pretty solid. But
you said one of my favorite words, free.
Yep.
Who doesn't love free samples, man?
It's hard not to, right? I mean, I'm just appreciative of them, good or bad. I just take it for what it's worth, and I note in my head who is doing what of the people that I get free samples of. And if I am going to spend my hard-earned dollar at a shop, then hopefully I don't waste it too much. So, what are you smoking on?
I'm rolling up some silverback gelato.
Oh yeah, I did hear you say that.
Probably a bunch of keef I'm gonna throw in there too, just to turbocharge it, I guess, as Remo would say.
Is it like a farmer's keef, where it was just like a blend of all the strains you've been harvesting for a while, or do you?
Yeah,
That's
I don't know why I haven't Yeah, me too. You know, I used to go out of my way to separate that shit, and unless I was like, you know, had a purpose, you know what I mean? I was gonna fucking give it to somebody, just strain Pacific, or heaven forbid I enter a contest, in which, you know, uh, isn't gonna happen. I like to mix them, man. I like that like punch taste, and there's times I think I can't remember who was on the other day that was talking about the like festival hash, but you can hit like notes of different things every so often. You know, oh yeah, I can taste that silverback. Oh yeah, I can taste that. I like
Yep.
that myself.
No, I definitely I can relate to that there when you get something that you can taste coming out. But I also like the festival hash or uh, farmer's hash, some people call it, where you just mix all the strains together. I think the broader endocannabinoid profile you can get for most people is probably going to be better because you probably have things going on that you don't even know, like little minor shit in your body that you're not even aware of that needs some help. A little pick me up from some endocannabinoid or terpene or flavonoid or whatever this beautiful plant offers us. And like Rick Simpson, I think he was one of the most successful with the cannabis oils, and he recommended using a 5 strain blend of like potent indicas. And I think having 5 different strains, he got that basically entourage effect across a broader spectrum. Even though he only recommended indica, I still think you get a pretty wide array of minor cannabinoids and a whole bunch of other stuff. And like you said, he also recommended using whole plant, leaf, stalk, fucking everything. You just throw it all in there, basically get as much return as possible. And in that, it might not be as pure of a THC concentration, but you're getting chlorophyll, which is good for your blood and for your digestion and other things. So it's interesting. There's so many ways to approach it, and it really all just depends on what each individual's medical ailment is. But I love talking about it, growing it, smoking it. I was just doing the Cushman chiropractic with some of my velvet punch, where you like kind of between every single node, kind of pinch them, bend them, and like baby super crop kind of is what I call it. You're not like totally bending it over, but you're breaking the tissue in the cell walls a little bit. And if you wanted to, you can flop it over on the side. And just doing that, even I'm about to flip in probably a few days here, but the fuely danky smell coming off of 2 of the phenos is just, it smells like finished bud already. Like it smells so dank. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those 2 phenos in flower here shortly.
I was looking for Sonia say what not so long ago. That was the first person I actually kind of heard talk about the super cropping in between nodes like that. Was with her. But as far as what we were talking about earlier, kind of the hash and the RSO, the Pico, I think, you know, as we push cannabis higher and higher, trying to get a higher THC number, I think we're actually getting further and further away from medicine, to be honest with you. I think there's just something about that super high THC number that it's robbing other things from the plant. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
A valued part of, but I don't think it's all of it by any means.
Even in flower, Eagle.
Close.
I'll tell you this, I've had some wedding cake that tested at 28%. It tasted like vanilla and like fuel and like cakey. It was great, like how it has kind of been described, and got me really medicated. Then I had some wedding cake that tested at 45% overall cannabinoids. There's like 41 point something THC. And it tasted like cardboard, and it barely got me high. It got me way less high than the 28% stuff did. And it tasted way worse. And I wouldn't, in this case, I can't remember if I purchased it or not. It doesn't matter, but I wouldn't buy it again, knowing the percentages and knowing it's the same strain, same cut, it's grown by different farmers. I preferred the one that had the lower percentage by a long shot. Like one bowl of the 28% would make me feel good. Or like 3, 4, or 5 bowls of the fucking 45%er. It's just like, you don't even want to smoke it. You're like challenging yourself to finish a bowl because it just doesn't. A lot of the shit just tastes like cardboard. Like cardboard terps is a joke for a reason. I think I don't know if you've seen that going around, but I definitely have seen the flower and I've seen the memes. It's a good way to describe it.
Man, fucking, I was checking out my neck there, man. And fucking, every so often I'll hit my fucking, do a little pre-show shave with the cordless there. That fucker's vicious, man. Sometimes, man. These things, man. I have love-hate relationship with them. That thing's got some new blades too. It shouldn't be so bad.
I spent way too much money on one of those things when I was in college, and because I have arthritis, I fucking shake like a leaf most of the time. So if I shave with a regular razor, I'd cut the hell out of myself. So I wanted to, look professional, have a clean shaven face, and I'd use one of those kind of in the shower, or I'd use it with shaving cream, or fucking shaving gel, or butter, whatever the fuck they recommend. I've tried it all, and I always ended up with skin irritation. New blades, old blades, whatever the fuck, like cleaning it vigorously. So thankfully, finally, at some point, I realized not only was it better for me to have a beard for my job, because like, imagine if I was like a poker player, having facial expressions be visible is actually a bad thing in my job, in the career path that I'm in. So growing the beard out actually helps a bit with, I work with a population, the kids that with special needs, sometimes they enjoy getting a reaction out of people. And the less reaction you show on your face, the better in some of these intense moments. And having a beard covers up some of the reactions that a clean shaven face would reveal. So it's a benefit. And also it shaves me time off my day of shaving, because I fucking hated shaving. I always shake and cut myself, and it's more work. So every like once a month, maybe, my wife and I now, I used to go to a barber, but I have clippers and I used to cut my hair for football. So I shave my head, my wife touches it up, and then I trim the beard, and she fixes up the mustache. So minimal effort, minimal time.
Cheers, Soka.
Welcome.
What's going on, guys?
I had to swipe over so now I could see we got all three of us.
Dude, I agree, Jack. Shaving sucks.
I'm with you, 100%. As we can show with our beards.
I kind of gave up on it,
The only thing I will say about having a beard is occasionally it gets to the point where the length is so long, and I don't like do a good enough job brushing and combing it to keep it out of my mouth, that it gets to a point where food starts getting in there, and I'm like, well, fuck, now I gotta trim it out.
It's usually like the corners of the mustache right here, You start chewing on it and shit. So
yeah, I hate that. Once it gets to that point, I'm like, all right, fucking time to trim.
Yep.
I know you could just use some scissors and then like let it stay long, but it's at that point I usually am like, it's funny. My wife worked at a real fancy restaurant here in coastal San Diego for a while, and they had a thing. They would say you couldn't tell if someone was homeless or a pro surfer. So like, it's like I could get away with it a little bit. It's like the pro surfers walk into some of these like real ritzy restaurants or whatever. But we also have a lot of homeless people here in San Diego, and they'll be wandering around the same streets. So it'd be tough for a lot of the employees to recognize, like, is that person homeless or like a pro surfer? I try to not get mistaken for.
We do have a couple of each of those here,
Oh yeah, big
just
time. Honestly, more often than not, like not more. There's a lot of homeless, so you see a bunch of homeless, but you'd see a lot of pro surfers and have no fucking idea here, or other like professional artists or whatever the hell they are. But cheers, Ty. And I don't know if Greenfingers jumped in yet or not, but I thought I heard someone say Greenfingers. But there's Ty. Cheers. Good to see you again.
Cheers, Eagle. Cheers, Jack. SoCal chat. How's it going?
It's fucked. How you doing?
Well, Instagram snagged up my Loyalty Organics page. I'm in fighting with them right now. I just got access back to my Loyalty Cannabis page. So there's that right now. So I'm going to be getting access back to the social media world.
Nice.
So
what do you guys do with your pages, man? I've been shadow banned forever, but I've never had one taken down yet.
I have a real strong inclination of, I know like what it is. It's some people There's been some people that have been hating for a while on me, I guess, for whatever reason they have in their head. I mean, not really to go down the rabbit hole. No, nobody in our direct community. And for whatever reason, I got word that they were just going around reporting a bunch of people that were associated with me, and I was quiet about it. I didn't say anything. I would just want to see if anybody else was, getting hit, and nobody else that was directly connected to me was. But yeah, it's just sad. You try to help somebody out, and then you find out that they've been friggin' screwing you, from behind, so to speak. And I mean, it's just social media. I mean, it's not like I was, doing anything. I don't profit from it. It's just doing whatever I do. But it is what it is. Just a little irritating to have to going through all that BS,
I feel you. Yeah. It sucks that sometimes people just can't let things be. You know what I mean? Let people go on about their lives. Today I kind of seen it over there on Mink's channel. I feel for a lot of, as kind of coming through the wave, and I don't think I'm done with it by any means, because I still get my fair share of bots and everything else. But I seen him get hit by a nice wave of trolls over there in his chat this morning, and man, that's we're talking about dealing with it, behind the scenes, and when the camera's not in your face. But man, that shit's even tougher. When it's coming at you when you're on camera and you're trying not to fucking let it hit and shit, and you're like, you know what I mean? And it was shitty to see that this morning. Somebody just trying to take shots, and he handled it well, but man, it just sucks that people try to put that in their day. Look, Mr. Smiley. Cheers.
Cheers, man. What's up?
What up?
What's going on, man?
Too much. Got this cool hat in the mail today. It says Weed Nerd on it.
Right.
I got there was some bullshit on Can of Mink's deal, but I feel bad, man. They lost his cousin or whatever. It sucks.
It's funny because IG deleted my original SoCal Weed Nerd for posting up a DM that somebody had sent me. They wanted to sell me Oxycontin and something else like Percocet or something.
Good shit.
And I was fucking with the dude in the DMs. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? That's bullshit. I don't do that shit. And then he's like, no, just, I'll even drop it in the mail for you. And I posted up the conversation, and they fucking banned me for sales of drugs. When I'm the one calling this idiot out, talking about, yeah, I'll send you Oxycontin in the fucking mail.
It's automated most of the time, their algorithm. So unfortunately, it's a robot who's making the determination. And as soon as they see drugs written in the screenshot and a message back and forth, they're not going to take the time to determine if you were the one sending or receiving. So it is bullshit, but there is an account recovery process. Brandon Russ gets attacked all the time with this kind of bullshit. I think it's a combination of jealousy, but also I think certain people are more disagreeable than others, and they will go and get into arguments more often than others online. Sometimes that leads to people getting really pissed off and reporting from like several accounts, like their weed account, their personal account, all their friends say, hey, report this person. They start stirring up rumors and bullshit. And I think oftentimes though, like Eagle said, he's been shadow banned a few times, but I think if you're good to people in the community for the most part, karma, your account, knock on wood, not to say that anybody whose account has gotten deleted is like not a good person or anything, but for the most part, if you stay out of bullshit and getting into petty arguments on social media, I think you'll avoid a lot of the being reported.
Oh, I've had my shit reported for the dumbest things, man.
I had an albino praying mantis that I found on my outdoor plant last year that I posted a picture of, and they took my account, and I lost it for a minute, but I got it back. But they tried to take it away for me posting nudity of all things. I still have the screenshots of the whole friggin' messages that the back and forth that I had with them. Nudity of a praying menace.
That's good, man.
Wow.
It's funny.
On the other hand, though, like there's another aspect of social media. Like I started my YouTube page on like Saturday or something, I think it was. And I started it because, I wanted to be able to live stream when I go ride. And the only way to do that with the GoPro is through YouTube. I can't live stream to IG with the GoPro. So apparently you got to have 50 followers to be able to live stream. Dude, within 24 hours, the Canon community here fucking went and subscribed to my YouTube. So now I got them up to like 60 something. And, the whole plan was coming together. And then I went and completely fucked it up yesterday. Like, I really fucked it up yesterday.
Oh.
So, thank you guys for subscribing to my YouTube. Be a little patient. It might be a couple of weeks before I'm back on the bike again this time.
Damn, brother, you're getting hurt every single time you get on that thing. I feel like you're just getting over the shoulder.
I'm not even back to work from the shoulder yet. I'm supposed to go back to work on the 1st, and then I broke my fucking ankle yesterday.
Oh, it's broke?
I'm about 99% sure it's broke.
Goddamn.
Yeah. So.
A little more downtime.
Stupid fucking freak accident, too. It was like, I wasn't even barely moving. I was coming to a
do
stop.
that at 10 mile an hour every time.
Dude, it's like I told my buddy, though, both times I've got hurt, I was riding with the same guy. And, we're coming up to a stop, and I went to put my foot down, and there was a fucking hole right where I ended up stopping. So, my bike weighs like 450 pounds, soaking wet. And we had just left the gas station. I was maybe a mile out of the gas station, the full tank of gas on that bitch. So there's an extra, 5 gallons at 6 or 8 gallons a pound. So, say 45 extra pounds. And when I went to put my foot down, there was nothing there. I just kind of fell over, like in super slow motion, And normally, I just get off the bike, like step off the bike and freaking kind of walk away from it as it falls. Somehow, some way, it caught me. My foot ended up, the back of my knee was under the exhaust pipe, and my foot and ankle were wedged between the bottom side of the fender and the back tire. So I don't know how the fuck that happened. I've tried to put my boot in there like 4 times now, being off of my foot. And I cannot get the boot to fit back in the fucking spot that it was.
So Cal, I don't know, it's really tragically coincidental, but as I subbed up to the YouTube today, I thought, fucking crazy ass reckless weed nerds and shit. I thought of you I immediately thought of Sub riding dirty, and then I picture you on a dirt bike trying to read comments and shit fucking as you're riding. I thought, this is completely reckless. Subscribe.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen for a minute now.
Well, I thought you said earlier you're going to try and go out riding this weekend.
That's my plan, but we'll see how it looks, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better take it easy and make sure you're healed up, man.
I was gonna say you should maybe consider just having a little bit more fun in the car or something else before your old lady fucking takes that bike and dumps it.
Yeah, have her
out in the
ride
fucking middle of the desert, because this
have her
second
ride.
time
Have SoCal
under a year. Shit.
Hey, the way I look at it is, dude, I've been doing this for 45 years. So in those 45 years, I've been hurt twice. They were back to back, but
is there going to be a point? Are you going to be like 70 you're gonna be like Eminem's like gonna said slap me if I'm still rapping at 45 at 40, and he's like 45 plus still rapping. Are you gonna be like blind and still riding out there, or like when are you gonna call it? I'm not saying that you need to now, obviously, but is there ever gonna be a point where you're like, hey, I'm not fit to ride anymore, like I'm endangering my life?
I could be full on fucking Joe Biden stage dementia, and I'm still riding.
What about if we just get you one of those sidecars and you ain't got to put your feet down?
Nope.
You come all blazing through the desert, like looking like Mad Max and shit. We'll get you a dog with goggles and shit. No.
Nope.
A spike helmet.
I'll quit riding the day that I fucking cannot physically start the bike.
Fair enough.
So, like, telling me to stop riding is like just telling me to stop breathing, you know? I've been doing it since I was 2 years old. It's all that I know.
70% of men do die from speed-related accidents. But
well, hopefully I'm part of that 70%.
You'll die doing what you love.
Right.
Better than, fucking, and I don't know. There's a lot worse ways to go.
I'll go out with a smile on my face and the boots on my feet, you know?
Just got to make sure you set up the fam, I guess, before that time. Hopefully it's a lot later than sooner. I hope it's when you're 99 or something, or 101.
Part of the deal when I started racing again was the wife was like, you're not even fucking entering a race until you buy life insurance. So, if I die on the bike, she's hooked up pretty fat. But I mean, I figure I've always known that I was going to die on a motorcycle anyway. So, might as well fucking have fun until that happens, right?
It's one of the risks. I mean, even at like 20 or something, kids get fucking hit by somebody texting while they're driving. They fucking get over 3 lanes and hammer somebody, or like drunk or whatever. But you've made it 40 plus years, and I commend you for having you can't live life in fear. So shit, you're enjoying yourself.
If you're afraid of getting hurt or failure or whatever, you're never going to succeed.
Yeah, and how enjoyable of a life could you really live if you're really just going to live in fear and like not let?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I see both sides of it. I'm just glad that you two have some. I know that you have a family, and sometimes we got to think about more than just ourselves. And I'm glad that you've and your wife encouraged you to get the protection, I guess, if something were to happen tragically. More than anything, we just want to be able to call you a fucker and grow out your fucking creations, because everybody seems to love them. And
as long as I'm going fast, I'm okay. It's when I go slow that I get hurt.
I honestly think there is something to that.
Cheers, Tony.
What's up, guys? Crash, how are you?
What's up, fucker?
How's those sausage toes looking today? I saw those suckers yesterday, man. Oh my God, guys.
They're fucking
throw those things right in a pan and fry them up.
Yeah.
They were huge. Yeah. How's it doing today? No? Good?
It's pretty bad. It's worse than I thought yesterday.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, you saw that. I was live yesterday right after I crashed when I got home. So.
Yeah, that's when I think I jumped in, right?
Yeah.
I saw you.
Let me pull this fucking boot off. I'll show you what it's looking like now.
Oh, shit.
It's going into that stage where it's starting to get its color.
Viewer discretion advised.
It's one of the times I'm happy I have like 4 people on one screen and then 2 people on the other screen. So sorry, Stoney, I can't see you. I'm swiping over. I don't want to look at SoCal's feet as much as some perverts are probably rubbing themselves off to one right now. I don't know. Some sick bastards out there.
Is that a normal kink?
Fucking webcam.
Webcam girls.
Oh,
in the
no.
chat.
Webcam's
Block
going
the
to show up.
It's kind of hard to see.
SoCal, quit putting your feet on the internet.
Ooh, look at that leg.
Getting some leg.
Look at that shit. It's fucking.
Oh, man. Yeah, it looks worse than yesterday now.
Yeah. Like down by my heel, like right through here.
Yeah.
That's like fucking. Dude, that's like Kenyan purple. So
Quit being
it's,
a bitch. Just walk it off.
dude,
Rub
I
some
tried.
dirt on it.
That was my thing. I was trying to
Just
just
walk
walk
it
it off, and it fucking swole up on me even worse. So I figure I'll wrap it up in this stupid fucking boot with all this fucking bedazzled bullshit all over it and call it good.
You got to figure out how to invent something so when you go 25 and under, training wheels drop down like landing gear, you know?
No shit, huh? I know. I fucking wrecked my shoulder at 19 miles an hour, and then I fuck up my leg at like, 2 miles an hour.
They're making these like airbags for people on motorcycles that you wear as like a vest. Like it detects your motion falling, and you basically turn into like the fucking Michelin Man. So instead of slamming into the ground, you turn
That
into a
would be
fucking
awesome.
giant puffball.
I tried that.
Yeah, try that out here. Right now we have 70-mile-an-hour winds all day today. Try doing that out here.
Till it's on a hill, you're like downhill, fucking just poking up.
Yeah, there's a few of those airbag vests out, and some of them they're starting to get the technology to where the airbag will actually deploy at the right time, and then there's others that are just like pre-deployed. So I'm kind of waiting for the technology to get a little better.
There'd be a
Well,
whole lot
done.
more people doing shit they shouldn't be doing then,
Right.
under the guise of safety.
Exactly.
Need to just kind of give you maybe a dead man switch, kind of, you know what I mean? A ripcord with, have a vest for you with a ripcord. So as soon as you leave the bike, it rips the cord and it just kind of, you know what I mean? A little ball around you and shit.
Well, mattress pops out.
The
How
problem
many
with
guys
that,
will
though,
forget though to unplug that thing, right? And they go to get off the bike and laying in the parking lot.
walking in the
shoot
grocery
them
store
right
looking
up.
like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. No, see, the problem with the ripcord idea, though, is the fact that when I did my shoulder, I never came off the bike.
Good
You know
point.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
True.
You're hanging onto the handlebars the whole time. You could fucking go ass over
and
elbows.
even going that slow, it was like I didn't realize I was going to crash until I was already on the ground. So it's not like I could even, I couldn't even like jumped off early. So with the leg, it was just fucking. If I would have pulled up another 6 inches from where I stopped, I would have been completely fine.
Now we're
So I
back
would
to
put my foot down, and there's nothing there. So
What are you smoking on, Stoney and Smiley?
Snow King.
Ooh, some 2020. How about you, Smiley?
I'm rolling up Skywalker OG.
Classic. I got something similar to that, Smiley, but it's a sample. It's a purple pound cake. And I only say it's similar because it's got a decent amount of linalool. And as far as the smell, it was having tried that Skywalker OG, hypothetically, allegedly. It's got some similar notes. This is definitely more spicy. This has a ton of beta caryophyllene. Spicy.
Are we gonna have to start describing flavors with the terpenes?
No. I mean, only if you want to. But this is a London pound cake crossed to Sunset Sherbet. And I would have swore by the name Purple Pound Cake that it would have been like a Purple Punch or something. But I was wrong. It says it right underneath the fucking name too. So I felt like a dipshit after. I was like guessing what strain it was. And it says it like right on the fucking label. About to go Google it. Sometimes not the smartest person. Stoner moments, I guess.
Hey, Smiley, I got a question for you. I know you're running the 680, right? The Grower's Choice.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had any of those fixtures where when they go off, they're actually not completely off all the way? Like there's like a real faint glow to them? you wouldn't see it like once the lights go out and stuff. Like your eyes almost have to really get adjusted to being in the dark. Because I was looking at my the Jilly bean I have and the Jilly glue too. The other plant I have in there is not doing a thing to it. It's not affecting that one for some reason. But the other two are starting to re-veg. So I'm looking at the tops of the colas, you know, and I'm like, they're starting to get, you know, like a little point down there and then tiny little fucking single leaves coming out. And I'm like, that thing's re-vegging itself. So I was like, what the fuck? So last night I went in there after the lights went out and I stuck around in the back, let my eyes get adjusted so I could see if there's any light leaks. And like, I don't have anything with light. My tent is right next to a hot water heater that has that little blinking red light in the bottom. But I mean, it doesn't really come out, you know? So anyways, I was looking at the light fixture and I could see it like have a real faint glow to it. I had to actually physically unplug it from the power source completely.
And then it went away?
Yeah, I thought it was maybe the timer. So I plugged it back into the outlet. You know, I hit the power. It's on a power strip. So I just hit that power switch, plugged it in. And it started glowing again, which I'm like, that shouldn't be happening. So I don't know what the fuck. It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I've noticed that like when they shut off, like if you're in there when they shut off,
yeah, they dim down.
like they kind of have a little bit of a glow, but it always seems to kind of fade away. And I always just figured whatever it was.
Yeah, no, it does, right? Because I have 3 of these lights, and the other 2, the lights go out, nothing. You know, they're
But
pitch
the other
black.
side, it has to be a certain intensity to trigger the plant too, is to my understanding. So similar to like how a moonlight doesn't necessarily trigger them, you know, it has to be a certain amount of intensity and like
right.
half a U-mole or some shit like that, and like it's got to be
Yeah,
around
take your
10.
phone out and use a light meter and test it. Like I've went out underneath the full moon during super moons, the fucking brightest. It was so bright I could run around outside and see, not run into shit. But I pulled out my phone and my lux meter or whatever that has, you can convert to PPFD or PAR, and it registered 0, and it was bright as fuck. People are like, "Oh well, starlight and the moonlight." I'm like, no, it is nothing like a grow light or the sunlight. It's so much smaller that plants, it's undetectable to a highly sensitive sensor. So I would wonder if it, when it's glowing, if it's putting off enough to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a light meter. I could check it though.
Worth checking
Check
for
it later
sure.
on.
It seems like it may be because you've got a few plants re-vegging, or maybe your timer's fucked up and it's like turning on for like an hour in the middle of your dark cycle or something. Make sure all this, if it's a tab timer, or they're all popped down.
Right, but even when I plug the fixture in and I turn it to the off position, it's got like this little glow going on. So it wasn't the timer, you know, it was doing it when it was plugged in the timer and when I plugged it into the outlet. So I thought that too. I thought maybe the timer's faulty and it's just allowing some power to trickle through.
My power just went out for 2 hours in the middle of the fucking night a few nights ago, and I just flipped a few plants to flower, and so that fucked up their schedule a little bit, like 2 or 3 days in, to have a in the middle of their light cycle go dark and then come back on again. So like, I'm watching them closely, and this is actually a stress test anyway, so it worked in my favor. But it's it can be a motherfucker, man, getting the timers and everything all lined up.
Yeah,
Make
right.
sure your lights are on when they're supposed to be on and off when they're supposed to be off, like actually off, not like dim glowing off.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to make a lighting controller.
Sounds like you have an electrical leak, man.
You probably have a way to measure that too, don't you? Stoney, being an electrician, I would imagine you're.
Yeah, I could measure.
Drawing.
You know, I mean, that's such a low amount of voltage going through there. You know, usually when stuff does that, it's usually the driver's bad or the transformer's bad. You know, that's usually the culprit. I've had this situation happen at a hotel where he turned the lights off and they were kind of like, they would blink. It's like a strobe almost, just a real faint It wasn't all of them. It was just a certain amount of them. And those were on a certain driver and replaced the driver and nothing. Everything was good. So the driver was bad. It was just allowing a pulse of power to kind of go through.
So
That sounds like a fucking horror film. Start seeing the flickering.
Dude, doing
hotel.
electrical work can be a horror film at times. Yeah. I mean, the
Especially up
simplest
in the-
things usually turn into the fucking biggest nightmares. Like a 5-minute job. Oh, I'll just replace that outlet, turns into, it's like pulling the string on your sweater, you know? I'll just pull that. And next thing you know, man, you're pulling and you're, holy shit. Now I got a pile of wire outside and all went there just to change an outlet. Now I'm rewiring the entire fucking house.
I always
And
light
that's no
the
joke,
string.
man.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm good. I'm done.
I was just like, when you were talking about the string on the sweater, I've learned from that, because when you do pull, you can fuck your clothes up. And I think it was my brother who told me if you burn it, it stops itself from like unthreading. So if you just hold a lighter kind of near a loose thread, instead of cutting it or pulling it, it'll kind of just like melt itself or like kind of fray back into the shirt. And then you don't really have to deal with it. Hopefully you can avoid burning a hole in your shirt, which would be worse than a loose thread, I guess. But
Yeah, it like melts that little nub on the end so it won't pull through anymore.
electrical though is interesting. I've heard from, maybe it was you and other electricians now, that it's less risky because you have those little meters that you can kind of test anything before you touch it. I know people aren't always cognizant enough to do that. So sometimes there are still accidents.
I would say every homeowner should have one of those. I mean, it's a nice thing to have, you know.
I definitely should have got one when I wired a fucking light and just freeballed it. Like, I was under experienced, but I had my buddy Kyle at Pure Breeding is an electrician. I asked him a few things, and the person that I bought some of the light parts from has done it like a zillion times. So it's kind of like Legos. Like, once you figure out like if it's in series or parallel or whatever, and kind of draw out your little schematic and get the wires all lined up. The, I guess, scary thing is when you go to plug it in after like building a DIY
like this.
I think the most common mistake amateur electricians do is upsizing wire, thinking that, you know, they're doing the right thing at like attaching on to, say, a 14 with a 12, over gauging the wire. I think is one of the most common problems I see with amateur electricians.
Well, over gauging.
I almost did that shit myself, because when I went to Home Depot to get the light, I was looking for the fucking thickest gauge, because I was like, that's what all my other grow related gauges are like thicker cords. So I don't know if it's like a high gauge or a low gauge that makes it fatter or whatever. So I'm like looking for the thick shit or whatever, and like I ended up just saying fuck it, and I used an old cord that I had, an extension cord that I just cut and wired that as the end of my light that plugged into the wall. So
oversizing is not really that big of a problem. It's the undersizing. Okay, that's where it's a problem.
Oversizing is a problem. Well, for the next guy that may open up that plug and see a yellow that's, you know, like I said, onto a 14 or something like that,
right,
and assume they can overwork that wire or pull more than you know allowed. That's basically what I'm kind of getting.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
I have to oversize the wire after 100 feet. Okay, you get voltage drop. So if I'm running 20 amp circuit and I'm pulling 12s and I'm going 150 feet, well, now I'm pulling 10s to that spot. Now I could put a box or have an outlet box as my junction box. So in other words, I bring the wires in from the panel to that box. Then from those 10s, I could splice onto those with number 12 gauge, drop it down, and pull the rest of the room or wherever I'm using that power to disperse it from that point. So I'm just getting the power from the panel to that area. And then from there, I could branch off with smaller wires. So that'll fuck somebody up who's not an electrician now you're going to see a bigger wire with a bunch of little wires spliced onto that. And like you said,
You didn't. Am I wrong in this too, Stoney, or am I right? Either plugging extension cords in one after another, don't you lose like a half an amp every time you plug in extension cord one to another? I know I've had to at one point
fuse.
pull as much cord as I could possibly fucking get. I think it was like close to like 300 feet, 350 feet of cord I had to daisy together to get where I needed to be. And by the time I fucking ran all that cord and fucking, it didn't, the plug didn't pop, but the saw barely spun because I had lost so much in the cords by the time I got it there. It was worthless. So
Yeah.
it's something like that, right? A half amp, something like that per
Yeah,
plug
you're
in.
losing. Yeah, so you lose it per foot. I think it's something like that. I would have to look and see. I haven't looked at shit like that. I mean, that's kind of stuff that we don't even, I know how long a run is, so automatically it's just automatic what I do. I don't have to think about it but I don't know the exact equation, but yeah, it's something like that. So yeah, that's what happened. You had 350 feet on probably a 14 gauge or maybe a 12 gauge. And even then you're be lucky to power up one light bulb, right?
What's your highest typical thing that you
Since
see?
we're talking about shitty electrician do's and don'ts, I thought I'd share some do's and don'ts as I was pulling down some more shit today.
All right, highlight this.
Home extension cords. So this is and again, knowingly oversizing a wire. So this is actually a 110 with a 220. So I can swap over my LED real quick and fucking plug it in. This right here, appliance cord. I've done the same thing too for an extension cord to run my again heavier wire. I'd call it good. And of course,
I would have to cut those cords from you, sir. Those heads aren't OSHA approved.
No.
I have to
and
cut,
again, an LED
to
extension cord.
They have to be sealed. But that's what do you mean shitty though? I mean, I've seen when we talk about shitty, I've seen like where, and I've done this myself because I just didn't have a cord. I take two wires right into that outlet, and I got my two wires and hook them up to whatever I need to hook up to, right?
It'll work. I know people run shit without grounds, like electricians that are real comfortable, and I'm like, dude, that shit's dangerous, but they swear they know what they're doing. So
yeah, I mean, I have stuff that's ungrounded too, but I mean, most of that shit's anything that's ungrounded is usually plastic encased, and for you to get it, you're gonna have to kind of get in on it, and at that point, you kind of deserve it, in my opinion.
That Denver's got a question. He's wondering about wiring boards together. He wants to know what gauge wire should he use. A slightly thicker gauge, or is that bad?
What's he wiring?
Boards together from a driver. LEDs, it sounds like.
Oh, LED boards together?
Yeah.
It's just you're going to have a black and a red wire, positive and a negative, because it's AC current. It's not low voltage, really. I mean, it's controlled voltage, but it's an AC current, not a DC current.
I think he was asking like 20 gauge or like what gauge would you suggest?
No, you could probably go to 16. I mean, the power from the driver going to the fixture, you could drop those down to 16 gauge. All the wires on my even like in light fixtures and stuff, like your lamp fixtures, that's all like 16 gauge wire. So like your light fixture,
problem
that's
to go
16.
bigger, like a bigger wire, like a 14 or 12. Then is that
You
a problem?
could if you wanted to. I mean, I don't think it's
just more expensive, right? It's not really going to cause any issue,
right? And it's very cumbersome. I don't know exactly what he's got to wire or how it gets wired. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's a chase for the wire to fit in, or if it's
thicker
exposed.
wires get harder to deal with.
So like I bought the I got a chilled LED from Growtech, and I bought the DIY model because it's like $150 cheaper. And I'm like, well, why the fuck would I pay someone to wire it like shit anyways? Most of the time I have to end up taking these things apart and rewiring them or hooking them back up. So it's basically just 16 gauge wire in there. That's it. They have these little chases to run the wire in and cover it up.
Good to know.
Okay,
But
so
I mean, I wouldn't be trying to hook up like number 10s or 12, 14 would probably be the max I would go on something like that if that's all I had.
I'm gonna put you guys all to shame right now on some bad electrical shit and show you this.
boy.
You'll appreciate this, Tony.
I probably know the guy who did it.
Oh,
No, that guy's dead. He's gone.
I can't see it. Fuck. Where are we at?
That dude died about 80 years ago.
80, that's more than that.
Yeah.
That's more than that.
The whole
man.
back of my house is run on that shit right there.
Wow. Dude.
I actually keep
at
walking
least
through
there's
here.
no pennies under them fuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuse goes out. We ain't got no more fuses. Give me a penny.
Right? Well, we use this door right here, and this is like the spare bedroom. And the way the house is set up, we use this as our front door. It'd be like the garage for anybody else. But I walked through the door the other night and I heard this fucker buzzing. It turned out.
Well, the funny thing is that box is not supposed to be mounted in the wall. That's an exterior box.
Well, this actually used to be the exterior wall.
Oh, you framed it up, and
I didn't do it, but whoever did it did a fucking shitty job. I mean, look at that shit.
man, I'm
They
getting
did
seasick
carve out
looking at
for
the
the
waves
handle.
and that.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, this room's small.
Oh,
It's like 10
I
feet.
see it.
And from this side to that side, it's like a 3-foot difference.
Oh my god.
Hey,
That
SoCal,
drop.
pull that handle down on that thing right there. See what it does. It's like a slot
No,
machine.
because with my luck, it'll break and I'll be fucking out of power in the bathroom.
I'll have to fly out there and fix it for you. I'll feel bad.
Right? Yeah, that runs like half the house, dude. And, I'm sure if I fucked up the power in the bathroom, my wife would probably kill me.
Yeah. Don't touch it.
Actually, there's
It's
no
working.
probably about it. I'd get fucking beat.
It looked like you had some cloth wire in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the good
it is.
stuff.
That's the good shit, right?
Yeah, it's where you touch it and you pull on it and the whole fucking thing just completely disintegrates. So you got a bare wire in your hand.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if I ever
Oh.
wanted to burn this house down, all I got to do is throw a wet rat in the fucking attic. Let a
I've
wet
definitely
rat
had
run
that
around up there. And,
Stoney,
What's
get
that?
into a plug and start messing with that sheathing on that older wire, and that shit just keep going and going and going
Yeah,
and going.
That's another one of those things. You pull that yarn. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's another one. Well, actually, that's almost what I fucking was talking about when I said a 5-minute job actually turned into like a fucking 6-day job because of that. Just from that alone,
Damn it.
couldn't fix the outlet. Then it was like, well, this should go to the next one, right? And then start pulling that apart. No. And then it's like, holy fuck.
I will always warn, anytime I go to like a water repair is one of the most main ones. I give that estimate. And I'm like, this is only good for what I can fucking see. As we open this up, this could go further and further and further. You fucking never know.
Oh, yeah.
I
Especially
have
with,
to let them know that immediately when I walk in on any of those jobs, just in case, something weird happens. 99% of the time, it's not really like that, but there's always that 1-2 times. I mean, then again, too, I pick and choose my jobs differently now. I'm smarter. I know when I look at that house, I say to myself, yeah, take a pass on that one. I look at it, I know what year that was built and about who did it, maybe, because now I know about shit, old builders around here who built what neighborhoods, so 9 out of 10 times I've been in your neighborhood at least once and I know who did your house and I'm not coming back. Not without a big bag for the money to go into, because you know how those turn into, Eagle, man. You know, those simple jobs that I'll make a quick buck and make them happy. And
you know what's funny about them ones, Stoney, is them are almost 100% of the time the good-hearted ones that you didn't necessarily wanted to take. You threw a fucking too cheap price at it because you were just trying to help them out, and then as soon as you open it up, it just kind of escalates, and then you're committed at that point to do the right thing. It's like,
yeah, those are the ones. Yeah,
it's like the cast iron in plumbing. You know, you find one little bad spot in the cast iron, you know, okay, I'll just pop out the grinder and cut it out, and the next thing you know, you're fucking, well, we're gonna replumb your entire house because you know, this crack just keeps running and running and running and running and running.
real life. That's real life. Dude.
it sucks, but it happens, you know. And the hard thing is trying to explain to the people.
Right. What
It was always hard
that
for me.
pipe?
In the beginning, it's hard too when you first starting out doing your side jobs, because I was all excited about hitting those side jobs, you know, making that cash money. And yeah, you know, I learned lessons. You know, I've cut open drywall, or I had to, and it didn't quite work out. And now next thing I know, I'm paying to patch it. And I come in now, it's like, you want cans in your ceiling? I'll put them up there. But here's the deal. I'm cutting holes. You're patching it. I don't patch drywall. I'll get them in there, but I'll do as least amount of drywall damage as possible, because I really don't want to cut the shit open anyway. So I'm going to go, you know, the least amount of work. And I know what drywallers like, how they like it. So I make it nice for them. So, you know, I'm not a dickhead.
Dude, we had a guy that we called in to do some can lights in somebody's house. They wanted, they didn't care what size. They didn't care if they were like 4 or 6 inch. They just wanted whatever was cheaper, you know, product wise. And they wanted them, you know, spaced out properly. So they're supposed to flow from their kitchen to their living room, and everything spaced out good, you know. So the fucking electrician comes in. Instead of mapping it out on the floor, which is a concrete floor, and then just, you know, popping his laser on his fucking points to cut his holes, he mapped it out on the lid that was already textured and painted, cut all his holes, and they were fucking like 2 inches off from each hole. So you look down the line, and it's just a fucking snake of cam lines.
Oh,
shit.
Fired.
Yeah, oh, fully fired. And then he cut into a fucking roof joist, because where his layout was, he was 1.5 inches into a roof joist. So he just went up in the attic with a hole saw and fucking hole sawed out the roof joist.
No, you can't.
You can't do that.
See, he was wrong right there. I wouldn't even lay it on the floor, and I'll tell you why. Because I've yet to find a fucking wall in a hallway that goes perfectly straight. It's either the ceiling's doing this, or the fucking floor's doing that, and the ceiling's coming in.
Right.
So even when I lay it out, chances are, so I go right to the fucking ceiling, and I pull a string, and I string it from one side to the other. Yep. And then from there, I can measure out where I got to be. As long as I got that center line going straight down that hallway, and it's just measurements from there.
Yeah, no, he didn't even do that. He just fucking, I don't even think he laid it out, to be honest. I think he just got up there with a fucking pencil and marked some spots and drill here and here and here and here. And it looked like
get in, get out.
Yeah.
I did a lot of these big time condos downtown, you know, 5, 10, $15 million. And these people, man, they don't have straight walls. Like their walls curve slightly. Like you'll have a hallway and it's got like a slight curve to it. And the bedrooms, you know, like these people all like these curves. They don't like corners. So trying to lay fucking lighting out. And then, of course, the lighting they used back then was they used the halogen stuff, the low voltage lighting. So the candles are like 3-inch diameter instead of 6. So now you got to put a shit ton of them in because it really doesn't disperse the light out. And then trying to put them on a curve, that was just like a motherfucker, man. God, I do not miss those days at all.
I was just thinking that as you said it.
Right? You know, the carpenters fucking hated it. I hated it, you know. Bunch of unhappy dudes doing these units. But then they would have like architectural design, home and garden, and all these magazines. They'd come in and take pictures and put their shit in the magazine. They come and interview, you know, the workers sometimes and ask questions about how did you guys do this or how did you do that. So it was kind of cool in some aspect when you're dealing with that kind of high-end housing and stuff. Basically, these people own the magazine. So, yeah, come on over and do a photo shoot on my $20 million place I'm going to live in for 2 months out of the entire year. That's it.
Yeah, but
go
they're
to
the
New
most
York for
picky
2.
motherfuckers there are.
That's the fun work.
They own everything. These are the rich people, you know's bosses.
Yep.
They don't work. They don't even have money. Like, money's not even a thing. I had a guy literally called me up. They had he had a light, an under cabinet light go bad. And this particular brand he had was so nice. They actually had these plugs that would just daisy chain along. And they just clipped right into these clips. So it's literally just unplug it, pull it down, plug in the new one and pop it up. Less than 2 minutes, I'm done. Guy gives me $500. I'm like, but this is a warranty thing, you know. Not on my end. We would have charged them, my company, because the fixture's not ours. We put it in, they bought it, you know. But I mean, again, it's such a stupid thing. Like, I'm not going to charge the guy. And he gives me $500 cash. It's like, here, no, you got to take this, please. You've always been nice to me. I've helped him out a few things here and there, you know. My wife's outlet in the bathroom's not working, you know, the GFI, press the button and there you go. Oh, wow, thanks. Super nice people, though, man. That was the other weird thing. These people I thought were going to be real pains in the ass because, you know, I was doing $1 million homes out in the suburbs, $2 million homes, and these people were just not usually the nicest people to deal with. So now I'm doing $10 million homes, $20 million homes in the city. I'm thinking, oh my God. And it was actually completely the opposite. Some of the nicest people. They're just living a whole nother fucking world, man, from us, you know?
Yeah, it's the exact opposite here. The exact opposite.
They have a lot of actors out there.
Well, the people that can actually afford to pay you are the biggest assholes and the most picky people out there, you know? So we had a house we did. It was that same house with the electrician that fucked up the can lights. It took the lady like 2.5 weeks to pick out her paint color. Then when she finally did, you know, we get the freaking outside of her house painted. And she comes to check it out. You know, it was a rental house that she owned. She comes and check it out, and she's like, oh, I don't like the color. Change it. Well, fuck, I already painted your entire fucking house. Now you want a different color? So you got to pay for another fucking paint job. And it's going to cost more because now we got to cover a fucking dark gray with, you know, an earth tone.
Well, if they pay, that's not a problem. I'll do it 100 times. But if they don't want to pay, then it's...
They didn't see why they had to pay for another paint job. They didn't understand it.
I'll be back tomorrow. Just pay me for this one and I'll go get the other paint and come back tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Choose Mr. Greenfingers. Sorry, guys.
Greenfingers. Yeah, I'm done talking about all that electrical shit. Unless it's about wiring up your grow room.
Right.
It saddens me, brings me into a depressive state. I left that shit behind, man. I'm done with it.
I hear you, dude. I'm right there too. I want out of
Almost
this trade.
54, dude. I'm done.
The trades are great when you're young. You can make really good money, but once you hit about 40, man, you don't work anymore. Like your body just doesn't physically work the way it used to.
Yeah, but it's not like it used to be either. Guys took care of each other, you know. Now
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of just scum and
Well, if you
dump trucks.
crashing on your fucking motorcycle at 10 mile an hour, then your body would fucking work the way it's supposed to.
Right? I know. Well, it's like I tell my buddy that I ride with, I'm like, dude, no more of this slow shit. No more of the slow rides, you know. From
It was
now on,
always
it's
when in
fucking-
doubt, gas it out. So Cal, you're fucking letting it down, man.
Dude, yeah, there was no freaking no. There was no powering through that one yesterday.
He just goes, no.
No. It was just one of those like super slow motion, like, oh shit, I'm putting my foot down. Oh, there's nothing there. Oh, I'm falling. Oh, am I really gonna fall? Oh fuck, I'm on the ground. This sucks. The one
Oh,
fucking time I didn't have my
motorcycle
GoPro on either.
You know, there is a slight fact, and I'm only saying this because I love you and a friend, but you are getting older, man. There could be a chance of like balance or, you know, something else going there that when you get slowed down, you're kind of experiencing a little bit of vertigo. You know what I mean? It might be a deeper issue there, brother. 2 in a row, same thing.
Right?
We just got to get them the training wheel landing wheels to come down at 10 miles an hour or slower.
We're back to the training wheels.
Like landing gear, man. After the bike slows down, they come down. Can't tip now.
Right? My wife's over here fucking laughing her ass off.
I'm sorry.
As she should be.
Sorry, the emotions are kicking in.
Wasn't she the one that she married you, right? You were saying how you showed her what you were doing out in the desert with the racing, and she was like, oh, okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
She didn't realize that you crash at low speeds. So any kind of riding for you is fucking dangerous.
Right,
At low
right.
speeds.
Well, yeah, I took her out to the to one of my desert races because she'd never been out there, and you know, she was like, "Okay, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty safe. There's medical here. There's, you know, people riding the race course to make sure that if you crash, like, you know, you don't get stuck underneath your bike and fucking die or whatever." And you know, then I go riding and I fucking crash at 19 miles an hour, and I've been out of work for a year for it. And then 3 weeks before I'm supposed to go back to work, I fall over and fuck myself up.
I do gotta kind of laugh at the irony of you saying, you know, like the trades are for the young, and you're like basically alluding to the fact that like you're getting too old to like swing a hammer or like do plumbing or whatever in the trade, but you're not too old to ride the bike, despite the 2 major accidents.
Yeah, but you know what? To be honest, in all the years I've been riding motorcycles, I've got hurt worse at work than I have on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I did. I was a glazer for a lot of years.
Oh, fuck that.
And, you know, my grandfather started a glazing company back in like 1962. And, you know, I remember as a kid going into the shop on the, you know, during the summer and all that shit. And then after he retired, you know, my dad took over and I went and worked full time with my dad. And we were doing a tabletop on a conference table in an office. And we're carrying the thing up the stairs because it wouldn't fit up the elevator. And somehow, some way, that fucking 4x8 sheet of glass broke in the stairwell, and it cut me fucking. It bounced off my collarbone. Did not cut my collarbone somehow, but ripped all the way down and fucking like right above my belly button. It fucking hit my fat ass stomach and filleted me open from my stomach all the way down, fucking halfway through my thigh.
Ooh.
So, dude, that one actually fucking cut my nutsack as well. I got fucking 13 stitches in the fucking left side of my stack. So, you know, I'll take falling off a fucking motorcycle over that shit any day. That shit was fucking nuts.
That was one job I didn't care for right there. It was a glazer. That shit paid good money, and I happened to jump on at the right time with what was it? Where they had to match that was an Obama thing where they had to match union wages.
Oh yeah.
Hey, remember that? So I was actually, that was one of my favorite jobs, man. Talk about not, and I about cut this finger off right here. You can see it still points down. And that's after a long time, man. For the longest time, this piece right here just pointed at the floor from a window pane. Actually kind of came down and about chopped that bitch right off. The only thing that saved it was a titanium wedding band that I had on at the time. But I love that job. That was a fucking good job. But man, that shit scared the fuck out of me. All that glass, big panes. Yep. We got to work when we were skinning buildings and shit like that. And man, you fucking them suction cup grab that big old fucking 10x8 sheet sometimes, and fucking even bigger at some points, yep. Man, when you're doing walls. Working in the wind, man, and I'm fucking sitting there, you know, holding it, kind of guiding it over to the opening. And I'm like, man, I do not like this. I do not. I hated working with glass, but it paid very well. Man, I hated that shit. I knew, like you said, I knew one of the guys I was working with had clean slices on his arms that fucking were right to the bone and shit. Okay.
Dude, it got to the point when I was doing the glazing shit that, like, I wouldn't even know I was cut. You know, people were like, hey, where are you bleeding from? So what are you talking about? I ain't bleeding. Dude, there's fucking blood all over you. Oh, shit, where am I cut?
It's these stories right here that I've talked to ourselves and a bunch of other growers and we feel guilty. That's the point that fucking, you know, about trying to phase over from one career to another. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of guilt there at some points. You know what I mean? Right. And, you know, it's like, fuck, man, I didn't want to fucking do that the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Fuck.
Dude, I had a lady up on Jack, you'll know the area, up on Mount Helix, which is, you know, pretty fucking ritzy homes. You know what I mean? There's a house up on that fucking hill that is on a pedestal that fucking spins, right? The entire house is on a fucking Lazy Susan. But I'm doing a replacement window up there at this lady's house and cutting the old glass out. I fucking put a little too much pressure on the razor knife and it broke the glass and my finger went through it. Fucking filleted the fuck you finger down to the bone. So I wrap it up in a freaking towel real quick, run outside, and, you know, I'm trying to deal with it and not bleed all over the fucking white carpet in the house. And she comes out and screams at me for fucking bleeding on her driveway. I'm like, lady, I can see my fucking bone right now. You know, I'll pour some fucking alcohol or something on your driveway and clean up the blood. I don't care. She's like, well, who's going to finish my job now? It's like, well, fucking, you know, I can see the tendons and shit moving around when I move my finger. But yeah, let me finish your fucking window real quick and then I'll go to the hospital.
I tell you need to find a guy with 10 fingers.
Right.
I don't have 10 anymore.
Right.
How's the
garden
job? So Kyle, I think I remember you said you had a little downtime for a bit. Are you back growing again? Mendo Locoing it up?
No Mendo Loco this year. This year everything's going outdoor. So that's all going to I got a buddy with some really nice property way out deep out in East County. And we're gonna go out there and go outdoor. So I got right now, the only thing going out there is going to be Cuvée and Amy Aces. I had a couple Crazy Uncle Josh that I was going to test out there, and they both turned male. So I'm not going to put males out there. And then I had a bunch of jinx-proof stuff that I was going to throw out there just to grow them out, and none of it germinated. So out of 5 packs of jinx-proof seeds, I got 0 germination rate.
Really?
Yeah.
I finally just popped this shit. I've been sitting on it for over a year and a half. I popped 3 different packs and every fucking seed popped.
Yeah, I didn't get a single one.
I didn't think it would.
I didn't get a single one. But then everything else I germinated, I got 100%. So
Jinx don't like you.
Jinx don't like me.
They must have gotten hot or something, man. That's my guess. Is at some point in transportation or something, somewhere along the chain.
Yeah.
They might have
Something
gotten
happened, but whatever. I wasn't trying to do a fucking forest out there anyway. You know, it's too hard to take care of that much.
Yeah.
You know,
honestly, I think that's like Jaws' way of telling you, fucking, this is what you were supposed to grow. Like, fucking focus on the amiaces and whatever. Like, when it gives you males, when it gives you non-germination, it's like, these are the ones that you were meant to fucking have. Maybe that's a little hippy-dippy, but I don't know.
Well, the cuvee, that was actually a really special cut that gave me the seeds. That was the Eagle cut of cuvee. And when I took down all the indoor, that was the last mother plant that I had. So I figured, you know what? I'll throw it outside and at least let it finish off, you know, rather than just throwing it in the compost pile with the others. And I tried to get cuts of it back to Eagle, and apparently fucking Mr. Postman like played football with them, and just they showed up fucking destroyed. So that plant for some reason gave me fucking 12 or 14 seeds. So I figured, you know, there's no males around here, so the only thing that could have pollinated it was itself. So I sent half of them to Eagle, and the other half I popped, and you know, they're going outside this year, and they're going to become trees.
So now with the new judgment with seeds and clones are insurable.
Right?
Can you send me a pack of fucking clones and we insure them for whatever we think they're worth, so they get there promptly on time?
Right?
Can you do clones in the mail now?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
As long as it's early enough, they can test it. And if it has above 0.3 THC, which a lot of later vegetative clones do have, Google, there's a paper out there that will show you. But I mean, if you scrub it with like alcohol or something like that, that can get the THC off of the outside of the plant, and then it shows up as hemp 0.0. It has to be under 0.3 THC, but the chances of them actually pulling it and testing it, I think, are relatively low. I mean, mine got kicked around by the postman going to Eagle, or the birdie was a rough ride through the winds over here, the Santa Anas, but it made it to Eagle after, I think it was 2 weeks. 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah, something like that. It was a long road. I was surprised she was still kicking, man, when she got here, man. That's a testament to JX Packing. It definitely fucking made it. It was, you know, that box was rough, too. It actually looked like it tumbled from fucking California. Wind delivered.
I should have had a bigger carrier pigeon, but, you know, small and mighty. It got it there, ultimately. And I'm happy it did. I definitely build the construction to withstand battle. I'll say that. It was a homemade DIY version. It was like definitely one of my craftier MacGyvers that I've pulled, because it wasn't like a tiny cutting. It was like, I think it was in like a 4-inch pot or something, you know, just like about a solo cup size. And yeah, I definitely made things happen there. The legendary dragon fruit that has since cursed Eagle with the never pine.
I think that's over with, to be honest with you, for sure. After I 100% think that Toad was on. That was it. It just, as me and him talked that night, it perfectly correlated with me pulling up that floor and explodes in that drain. And I had noticed it too, but I'd never really kind of put two and two together. I just kind of thought, that fucking drain stinks once in a while, but never kind of thought it would affect the plants like that, to be honest with you. I'm here to testify. Here to testify against pressures that we can't see like that, gases, off gases. I wonder if other gases have effect like that, if there can be like a canary. That's basically what it was. A canary in the coal mine, basically. I wonder what else it was affecting. You know what I mean? That could be possibly radon. You know what I mean? It could other gases affect your plant like that. And
I wonder.
as far as that goes, I want to talk about before we take off. I watched. We were watching Cannabis today, and he had showing his plants kind of some problems he had with it. And again, I'm not saying I'm diagnosing it, but I think it's something that gets a lot along with air quality in the grow room, indoor, outdoor. That I think goes overlooked is blight. In the grow room, I think that gets misdiagnosed a lot of times as nutrient deficiencies sometimes, and when it in fact could be air pressures or non-perfect air in your grow room. As funguses, molds, mildews that naturally progress in a grow room kind of float around and go unchecked sometimes. I think that's something that gets misdiagnosed as nutrient deficiencies and stuff like that, because it kind of does resemble like a CalMag deficiency if you look at it.
Well, it could be, because I think that with the air quality indoor and outdoor is going to be different, because the air inside's, going to be different from the air outside, because the outdoor air is always going to change. You know what I mean? So if you get, bad air quality one day, it's going to be different the next. But indoor, if you get shitty air quality in there, it's going to trap it. Unless you're pulling fresh air constantly from outside. If you're just like in the house or whatever, it's going to circulate through the house. If you got something in the house that's causing, an effect on your air, it's going to be stuck in there no matter what. Just like your drain problem that you had,
I've noticed like when back in the day, people were finally getting seeds from the seed banks or whatever, and they had a bunch of different strains. A few people had really dank basements in Ohio where I was growing up. And like the basement has a very distinct dankness to it, like a earthy, musky, almost like moldy, mildewy, kind of like not necessarily appealing like dank, but like a wet, damp, dank kind of unappealing. And it didn't matter if they're growing strawberry cough or super silver haze or Afghan. It kind of all had what I'd call like the basement funk. And a lot of people suffered from that. So I do think something as simple as like a dirty floor drain being close to plants and like off gassing can impact those plants, whether how they grow or just like absorbing that smell. It's like an extremely resinous plant. Like everything that hits it seems to stick to it. And I don't advocate bud washing, but when I've seen people wash their buds after harvest, the shit that comes off the plant is kind of a lot. So it is a lot more sticking to the plant than we really notice with our bare eyes. Like if you ever washed hash and you didn't hose when you're doing bubble hash, and you don't hose with pressure through the bags, you'll notice that there's like dust and shit in the resin heads. At least I have, and that's just part of life, right? It's like everybody's got a little bit of dust in their area naturally. as much as you might want to try and dust and vacuum and be perfect about it. I definitely think the carbon filter is a great innovation because that sucks up a lot of mold and mildew and purifies a lot of the air in grow spaces as well as neutralizing the smell. So this kind of has a dual purpose, but depending on people's grow space, they might not have adequately sized ones or may not use them at all, may not need to for smell blocking purposes. So then they just ventilate. And some people are like maybe more sensitive to air quality, so they'll have things in their house that are constantly purifying the air, which I don't know what level of air purity the plants absolutely need, because I've seen plants growing outdoor like near fires and that air quality is garbage. And granted, those plants didn't do as well as when they had fresh air, but they made it through. But it definitely impacts them, and you could taste the ash on some of the shit. Literally, it was like smoky. But yeah, I don't know. It's really a very nuanced and complex discussion. A lot of shit weighs in. Curious what Smiley thinks. You've been quiet over there.
Good.
I think he's
So how
muted.
was the vacay, Smiley?
It's good. I was trying to get to the fucking mute button and I kept like missing it. Anyway, no, I was looking up blight symptoms in cannabis. I was trying to follow up on what Eagle was saying. And it actually does look a lot like a kind of like what he's describing. There's a few different pictures I guess I was seeing of yellowy kind of leaves, like in the center, not internodal, intervanal parts of the leaves or whatever. Almost like what a magnesium kind of look would be.
It's similar to like tomato
Right.
blight, right? Or there's
Yeah,
lots
but
of blight in a lot of plants, potato and many other
well,
plants.
blight in general, I think, just describes a range of symptoms, is what I was kind of reading on. So it's not just like one specific thing. Kind of like powdery mildew, to my understanding. There's like a number of species
It's
of fungi that
bacteria and
causes.
fungi. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, it's like septoria kind of looks like spots, almost like you burned it like with a spray or something, where it leaves like a spot. But the blight actually, like what Eagle was saying, looks a lot more similar to like what you'd think of like I got a deficiency in the plant or something.
And again, why I think that goes a lot of time misdiagnosed, to be honest with you. And it goes more to a CalMag or a potassium or magnesium deficiencies, is because we want it to be that, you know what I mean? Necessarily, especially in a large organic type situation where there's not a lot of fresh air intake. I'm assuming that there is a lot of molds, funguses, and bacteria floating around that land on your plants that we don't see. You know what I mean? So I could see that in some cases being misdiagnosed, because a lot of chances are grows indoors. Jake kind of pointed out an instance on an outdoor situation where but that's more fresh air, constant blowing of air, movement, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about an indoor grow where necessarily we're concentrating on air movement, you know what I mean? But not necessarily fresh air intake or the quality thereof, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, that's what kind of looked like it makes sense there, even though he had a lot of airflow there, that's for sure. That's why I asked him if he was in a garage type area to where it might just be blowing around in the environment, you know. I don't know, just kind of throwing it out there for discussion, because I really think that people don't even consider it. You know what I mean? It's not even on the radar with a lot of people.
Well, that's kind of like what I was saying with, outdoor, if you got bad air quality for a couple of days or whatever, it's going to change. And all of a sudden you get that, that wind from the other direction that brings in nice clean air. But in your house, if you got shitty air in the house and you don't know about it, you're just going to be recirculating that same shitty air all the time.
So I personally like to have window fans and actually bring in fresh air in, and also ventilating the air out, because until I borrowed a buddy's CO2 meter, I didn't realize that my CO2 is actually pretty fucking high. I live in a tiny space and I have a wife and 2 cats, and we generate CO2 by just walking
We
around.
generate a shit ton of it, man.
So like if you're in a car for too long and with like 4 people in like a small car and you just have your windows all up, your CO2 levels can get to like the thousands within like a couple hours. So it's like definitely good to crack a window and get fresh air. And in a home, like especially a smaller one, or like the people that do like van life and stuff, that's why you see a lot of them put the exhaust fans on there to suck basically CO2 out. And just any air coming in is going to have lower CO2 than what we've been exhaling. But yeah, mine gets up to about 2,000 and as low as 1,300 at the low. 1,300.
So I just want to throw this out here because I know it happens in every grow room. If air quality isn't a thing, then how come every so often when we do our grow room maintenance or we shut off our fans, we all know shit builds up on the fans, on them blades, on the back of the fucking cage. You know what I mean? There's most definitely pathogens floating around in every grow room. Our fans show it. Just the shit that blows around. You know what I mean? So clean as we want to be, there's shit floating in the air. We should be more mindful of, I guess. It wouldn't hurt to run some cleaners in our rooms once in a while or something. I don't know. Just saying.
Air exchangers.
Yeah, our house should have fresh air every 2 minutes.
There are guys that scrub the air, so even if you have like a sealed room, say, instead of running the filter and the fan exit, venting out or whatever, you would just have it circulating air around the room. So you just put a little elbow thing on it, point it wherever you want, and leave the canister. Because that's kind of what I do at the barn. Is I don't really have it exhausting. It's not a sealed room either, but I am adding CO2. But it's like I just have a couple of those around scrubbing the air through there. And you're right, it's amazing how quick they get dirty. But
Remo uses a thing called an air sniper, which has like a UV filter, and it scrubs the air and kills molds. And one thing I was going to say is for microbial, I think that the earth box for organic gardeners, or any sort of sealed sip container where you're using a sort of plastic mulch layer, as opposed to having the soil exposed, even with like a mulch, that you're going to cut down the microbial to submit it for testing. Like I think Michigan allows like 50,000 CFUs for recreational, but it's only like 10,000 CFUs for medical. And if you had to submit through that standard and get tested, I think an Earthbox is going to test lower for CFUs than if like my old style of just having like potted organic soil where it's exposed. And I think that's a consideration if you had to get it tested, but I don't know. Unless you're like, the CFUs is kind of like a false leader, because there can be good, beneficial colony forming units. It's important that they test for things like aspergillus, which are actually like dangerous and have led to people dying from consuming moldy cannabis and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. For most people, I think you can just throw out the shit that gets molded and hopefully not try and like remediate it and pass it on to people like the Soil King. It's no secret I'm not a huge fan of the old Soil King, but I won't get too deep into that.
Right on. HempWithGG, cheers. Tent's looking good, my friend. What is that, a 5x5?
Yes, 5x5. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, everyone in chat. Yeah, it's a 5x5. About 3 weeks and 3 days into flower. It might be 4 days into flower, but yeah, a little over 3 weeks into flower. 5x5.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
You know what I appreciate about the 5x5 is nowadays they make these fixtures like you got now in the 8 bars. Like I've got one myself. They make them so damn tight or so almost to 4 foot. If you're not running a 5x5, that thing's dragging the sides all the way up. Real
Yeah.
makes it super tight on a 4x4. So I appreciate the 5x5 and that extra little bit around the light, being able to raise and lower it with more of an ease.
Yeah, and it's not like rubbing your tents. I know with the 4x4 lights, you get them like exactly 4 feet by 4 feet, and it's like you can barely zip the damn tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all different ages, different strains, some sativa, some indica. It's just wild in here.
Everything was happy and healthy though. Green
Yeah,
and
thank you.
lush, filled out.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Is that the same tent that you'd harvested not so long ago?
Yeah, I think I was on here when it was Blue Gelato, I think was the last thing that was in here. There was a grow between that too.
Oh, so this is a refill. Nice job, man. It's looking good.
Yeah, 4 of these were supposed to go in the 4x4, but I received some free seeds, so I wanted to start them in there. So unfortunately, I am doing 9 plants in here. I usually do 6, and why I say unfortunately is because girls like this would really like to be, she'd like to be opened up more, but there's just not room for her to do it. She's a big one. Yeah, I really like to open them up, and when you do a lot of plants, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, sometimes indoor less is actually more.
Right?
Or if you just want more flavors, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of weight to get to sample a wider variety. And it's something that you could note mentally, like, hey, if I want to run that strain again, give it a little bit more room, and I could fill out a bunch of space with a smaller plant.
Or you could be like me and just keep buying more tents.
I wish I had
just
space.
bought another one. It's going to be here tomorrow.
Hey, good on you, man. Keep fucking growing. Keep popping seeds.
Dude,
We need more people like you and Eagle and every one of us.
I'm fucking around with
growing.
breeding and stuff for myself.
Just do it. Fucking
Want to make
enjoy
some
it.
seeds.
It's one of those things that's kind of nice once you get a system going and you get like microclimates, basically like Sony's getting to have where you can breed, or different night and day time, in the same areas. Or that shit comes in handy, especially if you're cramped with space, man. You want to run a day and night. If you're making this, a quasi living, I guess, or that you're doing this on a full-time scale, you want to split that up into a day and night, I think. You know what I mean? So you can do part of the work here, part of the work there. It isn't necessarily a crunch time type thing every day.
Yeah.
I like the more laid back feel of the day and night, just working some here, some there, getting it done. I don't know. Tents make that shit happen.
Yeah, that's kind of like well, it's not kind of like why I did it, but it's turned out to work out that way, where it's kind of nice because I got all these rooms instead of being stuck to 2 rooms or 3 or 1, right? So yeah, I could have multiple rooms, and like you said, you could have different times. That's my problem. Everything's on at the same time and off, So yeah, I gotta start splitting some stuff up.
Those things are really fucked up. And then, like I said, it's like zone 1s. Something's wrong in tent 1. You know what I mean?
Right.
You catch it there before it kind of gets out of control and shit. It's easier to contain things when things get out of control. Sorry.
Right. Hey, do you guys use AC Infinity stuff for your tents?
I do.
They got
I'll
a
get
new
one once my
controller
shit
out.
dies. Sorry, go ahead.
They have some sort of new controller out, I guess. That's pretty cool. I haven't looked at it yet.
Controller 69. That's their new controller. It's controller 69. They're coming out with one with Wi-Fi and one without Wi-Fi. The other one's just Bluetooth, but it will allow you to plug their canopy fans into the controller. So it'll also control your AC Infinity oscillating clip-on fans as well. But I just
and then they have LEDs out as well, because I think it'll control your light. It said it'll control your light. I'm gonna assume they do, because
they do.
I don't know what kind of connection,
If they
No, you're right. They do. I just
Their
personally
lights,
don't-
it like kind of expands out. At least one of them, it's like a square, and it like can extend from the corners.
Yeah. Their par maps are
Cover.
confusing now. They always show CO2 par maps and always at unreasonably low hang heights. And it's like, okay, you got 1500 in the center. Whoopee. It's just their par maps are confusing. I don't know
They're
if anybody's
still
looked
on
on
the old
the website.
metrics. Yeah, I don't think they've come across somebody like Dr. MJ Coco or Migro who does like more fair grow tests for something that would be relevant to our community at least, which I think is who they're marketing towards.
Yeah. I think they're one of the, major companies though that can say we have the top of the line for 90% of the tent. They have the best tents in my opinion, at least quality wise, and being able to open it like this. And they have good HVAC and good controllers and everything, but I can't
I've
say
heard mixed about the tents, though. I already have people complaining to me within the first year that their zippers are breaking, and I have a cheap, shitty Vivo Sun tent. I shouldn't call it shitty. It was cheap, but it's been running for 4 years plus without a single zipper issue.
Nice.
So
Yeah, zipper issues can be a problem, especially if you come at it with the wrong angle or like I think Eagle was saying, you get some of those lights and it's like you got to shove it in the tent and pull the zipper up to get it to fit in there. So yeah. Now when it comes to light leaks, I don't care what tent you buy, you're probably gonna find light leaks. It just happens. It's almost unavoidable.
Flex Seal is your best friend. Honestly, you spray that shit on the outside or some similar product. It'll stop light leaks simply.
You got to be careful with that Flex Seal shit though, 'cause that's flammable.
Good point, I guess.
It was
I've seen
I want to say
people-
it was Puffer that did a bunch of shit in her like stairway thing or something with Flex Seal, and it ended up catching on fire.
Holy crap.
So that was quite a while ago too. So
I've seen people take this like tape, like the tape that's on my bar here, this HVAC almost aluminum tape, and they'll put a strip of it down the bars in each corner to block the light leaks, because that's where you get a lot of them is in the corner. So they'll put a strip of tape behind this bar.
down the seams.
Yeah, down all 4 seams in the corners of each tent. They'll put a long strip of that. I don't know what they call it. I guess it's HVAC tape. It's like aluminum foil tape or some bull crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use it to keep the clamp from falling down, because it seems like the clamp fans, at least the ones I buy, they always slide down the pole.
When I am not stress testing like I am right now with the Velvet Punch, I'll just take my tent right now is in a closet. So my cats fuck it up. They scratch the outside. So instead of like flex sealing it all the time, I just take a Panda film or any tarp and you just throw it over when it's nighttime. And it's kind of like light depping almost. I check on my plants every night or morning anyway. So it's like I tuck them in and untuck them.
Tuck them in, right? That sucks. Your cats climb on your tent. Oh, that would give me the creepy deebies.
Honestly, it doesn't bother me one bit, to be honest. Like to be in under 5 square feet and be able to pull a few pounds for myself is
Congratulations.
Not per run, per year, but I mean shit still. It's good for me and my wife to have some good homegrown medicine in a tiny ass space, and we love our cats. So I don't know. I'm not gonna be bothered if they fucking jump on or scratch the tent. They're gonna do it if I'm not here. So oftentimes I'm not here. Like Eagle was mentioning earlier, some people do this as their full-time gig. This is a very just side thing for me. It's a little bit of medicine for me and my wife and a couple of friends. I'm not ever selling anything to anybody. Every seed that I've made, I've given out for free. It's like coming up on 1,000 now. I'm like 750 Velvet Punch seeds sent out for free.
Wow.
100 of them to veterans. But it's just, I'd rather be doing, like I've got my business that I'm happy. I'm young and enjoying my trade, I guess. And I've got a bunch of years to go until I change it up and go more full-time gardening, or if the opportunity presents itself. But I really enjoy my day job. So, but I also enjoy fucking talking shit with Eagle and everybody here in the Weed Nerd world at night. It's getting stoned.
Heck yeah, well, we enjoy having you. I definitely, I know you do a lot for the community, and I like that you're now doing Instagram lives and everything. It's cool popping in there, even if you're just bullshitting and smoking on a bong.
You know, like to answer people's questions if they've got them, or just interact, see what people are growing, smoking. It gives me feedback for like the books in the future that I want to write, see what strains people are interested in, and stuff to try. Just personally, like if people are talking about a strain a bunch, one was like Trop Cookies. I saw it all over Instagram. People were talking about it. And I tried it a bunch, and although it looks good, smells pretty good, tastes pretty good, the effects for me are not anywhere near what I'm looking for. So like a bunch of people are like, oh, you need to put Trop Cookies and 50 strains of purple, put Trop Cookies in. I'm like, dude, it's not in my top 50 purple strains that I've tried, not even close. I wouldn't even put it in my top 100. No disrespect. I mean, it's beautiful, it tastes good, but it's just, I'm a medical patient first, and I think the effects are one of the most important parts of cannabis. That's what most of us are using it for.
Yep. Well, we'd like to think that, but no, I'm glad to hear you say that, you know, you're looking for the medical effects for sure. I think most of us use it for medical effects. We just don't know it. So it's kind of like if you look at New York, where they legalized you to smoke, but there's no dispensaries or no caregivers. I feel like they're kind of screwing those people over, because you're going to have the person who's never smoked cannabis go out and buy it from God knows who and have a panic attack and say, cannabis doesn't work for me. It's just, she didn't get the right medication. So I'd like to hear you call it, you know, medication.
I think that's the most important side and aspect. As much as like it is fun to recreationally smoke and get stoned, you know, I think personally that some people have said this before, and I tend to agree with it. Like all use is medical use. Like if you're using it for recreation, even if that just like allows you to like have a little stress relief or relax, that stress relief is a medical benefit. Like stress is one of the number one killers: heart attacks, strokes, all sorts of things related to stress, early deaths. And Willie Nelson always, I would fuck up this quote, but he said like, if stress is the number one killer, like cannabis is one of the best medicines because it reduces your stress. And I honestly think that's true. It does so much more than that. It modulates like our endocannabinoid system, which we didn't know about 50 years ago, but now we know a shit ton about. And that regulates our immune system and our ability to heal ourselves and sleep and eat, and all these systems that people have issues with, it can help regulate. One of the big reasons fucking big pharma hates it so much is it can help so many of us. All the shit that they'd rather get rich off of, we can grow it in our fucking closet and save ourselves thousands of dollars. It's the most empowering thing. That's why like every grower that we have on Growing with My Fellow Growers, occasionally we open it up for, we just put the Zoom link, kind of how like the WEedNerdWorld, anybody could come on that's been on before if we recognize their name. They jump on. HempWithGG has been on, many of you guys have been on. And so many people are like, especially in their first few grows, it's like empowering is the word they use. And it's like, not only is it saving them money, because like compared to what they used to spend buying it, but it's the process of like taking care of a life. If they've never had a child before, or if they've never grown a plant before, like it's really special, beautiful process. Like Eagles mentioned many times in the past, people get addicted to the growing, I think, as much as the smoking. Like just being with your plants, spending time with your plants, like looking forward to that as much as actually consuming them. And that being the best part of their day for some people. You could be having a shit day and come home and the plants could pick you up. Or you might be like, I had a shit day, I'm not going to go into the garden until I get my head in the right place, because I want to be in like a good mind space when I get with my plants. But everybody's got their own kind of way. But I love seeing people be empowered by something that was basically squashed down by the government for the past 100 years. And now it's kind of coming to the forefront. And although there's some chads that probably don't deserve to be a part of the industry, taking most of the advantage of making the money off of it, a lot of good is also coming in the medical communities and people gaining access and not going to jail as much and getting information like we're having on these shows that we're able to spread to the people. It's like, it's so fucking powerful. And so many people are going to be able to grow their own that weren't ever able to 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And that's just like, they're fucked. How are they going to stop us now? Cat's out of the bag.
Speaking of growing your own, I'm excited. I started a bunch of veggie seeds too today. So
good on you, dude. Fucking which ones?
Actually a shit ton of different ones. Different peppers, tomatoes, fucking cucumbers, watermelons.
Do you start them indoor and then put them outside? Because isn't it still fucking like
some of
snowing
them?
and shit?
Yeah, some of them I'm gonna sow right outside. So I got like carrots and lettuce and shit like that. But I'm trying to get I want to get a broccoli. I want to actually have a nice broccoli head, so I'm kind of.
You grow any corn?
And I don't actually. No, I don't bother with the corn. And then
No knee high by the 4th of July.
carrots are going to be the other one that I want to get some nice carrots this year. So.
Any maters?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a ton of tomatoes. Thinking about making salsa from it, and then
Nice.
yeah.
I think it'd be cool to do like a hot sauce, grow some peppers and some tomatoes, and fucking mix it up yourself, get it kind of spicy.
That's kind of where I'm at this summer. Is I'm growing salad and salsa.
Hell yeah.
I learned the hard
That
way
was
this
part-
year though. Like, Smiley, space your broccoli plants out a little more than you think they need it.
Yeah, they got big.
Mine, yeah.
I guess it's more about the trigger of the temperature. So like you want to get them out real early, so that they have a chance to form the broccoli. Because like once the temperature hits a certain degree, I guess is when they go into that bolting, and then they throw the long shoot out or whatever.
Yeah, they're more of a colder weather vegetable for fruit or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Yeah, Southern saying start them indoor. I did start some of the broccoli too. That was my plan, is hopefully get them a little bigger. We really, I mean, I don't know. We came back, it was snow on Saturday morning, and then the last few days have been in the 40s and 50s. So it's kind of
That weird fake Hedvig spring you guys get. I remember that in Ohio. It'd be like, you'd get like a 50, 60, 70, maybe even 80-degree day in like fucking May and like early April. And then you get a fucking snow like, or March.
Like it did
April, and then you get a
yesterday,
snow
the
come
day
back.
before here, and it was 60 degrees the day before that, and then it's snowing the next day. I wake up, there's like an inch of snow. And
Well,
it's going to be that way again, because we're going to have like 75-degree weather for the next couple of days, it says, and then it's going to go right back to the 40s and 30s. So,
well, if you
all right,
really
though,
want,
as long as we get a week like above 50 degrees, then I can start cleaning out the garden.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
just a couple of days.
Smiley, or not Smiley, fucking SoCal. What are you growing out here? Because where I'm at is almost like become a fucking tropical zone, so you can grow a lot of stuff. A lot of it here.
we got like 15 different like herbs going on. You know, like thyme and rosemary and all kinds of
Rosemary
shit
grows
like
like
that.
a fucking beast out here. The
Yeah,
rosemary is beautiful. It
yeah,
smells
you'll
so
get
damn
fucking
good.
15-foot rosemary plants for you to let them go. But right now, like with the setup I got going on right now for the greenhouse, this is pretty much just a tester run, because I'm not 100% sure that location is going to work out. But I got fucking lettuce.
I was gonna say East County. It's gotta be fucking like desert out there. It's gonna be a little tough for cannabis to grow, depending on where you're at.
I'm deep East County too, so it stays.
Like
I mean,
in a mountain, or like,
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. More interesting.
Yeah.
A lot more interesting.
So from if you were to leave from like Mission Beach and drive to my house, it's like a 55-60-minute drive. So that tells you how kind of deep out in East County I am, you know. But I got tomato. I got 3 different kinds of tomatoes going. The corn's going ape shit. Lettuce is going crazy. Broccoli's going fucking nuts. What else do I got going? I got like 5 different varieties of melon. Cucumbers are going fucking crazy.
I was blown away how good corn grows out here. This lady has a raised planter like a few houses down from me, and it's only, I want to say, like 3 feet by 2 feet, and she grows 6 foot plus corn stalks, like 2 of them in a box that has other shit growing out of the bottom, like permaculture style.
So the raised planter that I'm using for my corn, what do I got in that one? I got onion, corn, whole bunch of different kinds of lettuce and carrot in the one raised bed outside. And that's an old bookshelf. So that thing's working fucking great. You know, it's only a foot deep. and everything in there is working fucking awesome. And then in the greenhouse, it seems like everything's just loving it in there. Because what I did with the flooring in there is we have gopher problems out here really bad. So I scraped off and leveled off the area, and I put like 1/4-inch wire mesh down, and then weed block, and then let's see. No, I did the weed block and then the wire mesh and then more weed block. And then I put a layer of DG over the top of that. And on the inside of the greenhouse.
What's DG? Forgive my ignorance. I'm a dumbass.
Decomposed granite.
Okay.
So basically what DG will do is once you kind of pack it down a little bit and water it, like soak it down, it turns into that really gnarly, hard freaking dirt that we have out here that you can't get a shovel through. So I use that for my floor. And then on the inside of the greenhouse, there's a spot that I found that sells like bark, like landscape bark. And they say it's $18 a yard, but it's pretty much $18 is going to get you as much as they can literally fit in the back of your truck. So I put that down on my floor on the inside, and I keep that moist so that it's a little bit more humid in the greenhouse than outside, because our humidity here is fucking low. So even like today with it, threatening to rain right now, my humidity meter out there says like 22%. Whereas like, last week when it was hot, I was down to like 12 and 13.
Yeah, it's so different over here. It's like between like 50 and 70 most of the time. It drops down to like 30s and 20s in like the Santa Ana times, but it's definitely.
Yeah, but you're more coastal.
Yeah, I'm right on fucking ocean.
Yeah, so, and I'm, 45
an hour
minutes
inland.
from it. Yeah. So
it's different. Kevin Jodry said even 10 minutes. Like he had a guy who was on the coast, a guy who was like 5 miles in, and a guy who was like 10 miles in, and they all grew the same cut, same soil, same everything, and they noticed huge differences.
Right.
So.
Well, it's like there's a barrier in San Diego County. Highway 15, man. If you go west of the 15 towards the ocean, it's going to be different than on the east side of the 15.
Yeah,
like
no, for sure.
If you're driving back from the beach to East County, right when you hit the 15, you can feel that fucking like wall of different air.
It's like hotter and drier over there.
Yeah, exactly. Within, a mile.
Yep.
So
even like San Marcos, I went to college up there. I would drive down to the beach, or I didn't even have a car. I would take the fucking train, the Sprinter, I think it was called. It's $2 one way, right, and drop you off at Oceanside Pier. And I'd be all stoked to be fucking like 80 or 90 in San Marcos. And then I'd get over to Oceanside and it'd be like 68 and cloudy. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like this marine layer. Everybody's like, get away from the marine layer to burn off. I'm like, well, I have classes later today, so fuck. I guess I'm just gonna body surf in the cloudy. Fucking,
right.
I'm not gonna complain. As an Ohio boy, this is like living the dream for me out here. I fucking love being by the coast and being able to get in the water. But you've been here for many, many years, and I'm sure you've been growing more than just this past year. So what's the most successful food you've grown while you've been in California?
Peppers, believe it or not.
Everyone grows them around here, so that makes sense. They look beautiful and they're huge. Yeah.
Peppers, and to be honest, fucking squash does really well out here. So I did some last year in the raised bed. My main raised bed is 4x8, and it's 24 inches deep.
That's beautiful.
I was getting last year we were getting squashes out of that thing that weighed like fucking 10 to 12 pounds.
Damn.
So
you're giving everyone in the neighborhood some fucking squash.
Yeah. I was taking them to work, and people are like, dude, don't bring those in here anymore.
We can't eat that much fucking squash.
Yeah, we don't have room for it anymore, dude. you know, and my wife was taking them to work, and she works for a pretty big organization, and there's a whole lot of people, and they're a 24-hour deal, so there's people in there 24/7 365, and they were
People
still
would
going to
rather
her place.
stuff their face with McDonald's, though.
Right.
Smiley, what about you? I'm going to ask you the same question because we were just talking about growing your own food as well. In Michigan, I don't know how long you've been into the kind of victory garden side of things, growing your own food as well as cannabis, but what's the most success you've had with a food crop?
Last year we kicked ass with tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes. So we had a shit ton of potatoes. Fucking bomb.
I love the garden. For me, cucumbers, green beans, tomatoes yield well for me. Zucchini yields pretty well up here. Poor Smiley, I've been watching him. Poor Smiley's still on Texas time. I've been watching him last couple minutes, man. He's been fading. I've been like, ain't no
it's
way
like 1
that
or 2
kid's
o'clock
even
in Texas.
making it. He ain't making it to 4:49. You can tell, bro. Cheers to you. You had, but
traveling, whoopsie.
Along with it does. Plus makeup work when you get back home. I just want to throw out there real quick before he goes, because I'm not kicking you out, Smiley. I just know you're tired. Fucking like growing things for other uses, like garden uses. I mean, what would you necessarily could you grow, like say for a good seed sprout tea or something that you would use in the cannabis garden later? Not just foods you would eat, but are there foods that you could grow that you would use later on in your garden? Kind of like, thinking ahead in Jadam type state or, KNF or
Comfrey is one real popular one. A lot of people use. That one will grow forever wherever we plant it, apparently. And what was the other one I was just thinking of? Fuck.
Dude, if you Google any fucking fruit, vegetable, herb, if you get it during its vegetative stage and you just look up what is this plant known to have during vegetative growth versus fruiting, flowering, they'll tell you this one has manganese, this one has calcium, this one has that. Every one of these plants is useful in some facet. So if you just FPJ'd, like fucking fermented plant juice, like every single one of the fucking plants you have around you, you'll get micronutrient concentrations that are pretty rich in there. Like those things end up being like 1 to 1,000 concentrations. So very tiny amounts stretch into potent concentrations. So essentially almost all plants have tons of micro and macronutrients. And when you break them down.
Would that be considered KNF then?
Yeah, Korean natural farming or just natural farming in general.
Okay.
Jadam is the other. Jadam is like the branching off of Master Cho, who made, I think, Korean natural farming fairly famous. He wrote a very good book describing a lot of the recipes that most people are commonly sharing. And he also does like classes, I believe, in Hawaii. And then his son did the Jadam thing, which is a little bit less sugar, more like water-based stuff, but also like plant ferments kind of, and both very effective. I was under the wing of a guy who that was kind of his shtick. He was all about KNF Jadam for years, and I think it grows incredibly tasty cannabis. And if you're growing in greenhouse, like pulling tarps and got lots of beds to basically fill up inexpensively as possible with still producing high amount and high quality, I think it's definitely one of the best routes. But there's so many ways to go about it. It's a fun one though. You feel like a mad scientist when you're looking at some of these fucking ferments in the bottles. Some of them smell funny.
What about
I don't like
making your own
stuff.
sprays. I heard like SoCal mentioned he's growing rosemary, a very effective oil that we use in the garden quite a bit. Can't you think about can we geared more sort of stuff like that too? I mean, can we use how often? We might as well make it like a synergy type thing, right? If you're growing a garden and you're, growing cannabis, why not think ahead and try to to synergize them both, right? That's what I'm thinking. Anyway,
I know
while I'm
people
listening.
grow marigolds and they put those like around the outside because they're supposed to ward off. I think they used to be called chrysanthemums, or even God, what's the name of? There's like a not permethrin, but it's one of those
Pyrethrin, yeah.
pyrethrins, yeah, and pyrethroids. There's like the natural, and then there's the chemical version.
Pyrethroids are the chemical one, and pyrethrin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those plants used to be actually called like pyrethrin plants, I think, or whatever. And anyway, I'm definitely a little bit stoned to be trying to remember exactly the specifics of what IPM they provide, but I agree with you, Eagle, like having like a banker plant or growing something for IPM, like Leon's All Per Plus. I think most of that comes from like natural essential oils, and if you could grow peppermint, spearmint, rosemary, and some of the other ones, and then mix them up. I know that is one of the ways that there was a gal who came on Future Cannabis Project a while back, and she talked about, I can't remember what the abbreviation was now, but it was a KNF, basically IPM spray, and I think she called it OHN, Oriental Herbal Nutrient or something, or OHN I think was the abbreviation. I can't remember what it stands for, but yeah, she claimed that can be broken down into specific things to target specific pests. And I can't remember exactly how she went about doing that, but I've definitely seen people have a lot of success using natural IPM, like Lost Coast Plant Therapy or All Per Plus, or even like the enzymes, like Amazing Dr. Zymes, or like Tweetmint was like a combination. It used peppermint and also enzymes.
And see, this year in the greenhouse, I'm doing an experiment with companion plants as an IPM because, dill and mint and things like that, will repel different pests. So inside, I've got a bunch of pest repellent bugs or bug repellent plants. And then outside, all over the yard, I've got a bunch of different stuff as well. Marigolds and, all that kind of stuff growing on, all through the yard to try to keep as many pests out of the greenhouse as possible. That way I don't have to spray anything.
You want to hear, motherfucker? Hota Herb, a friend of the show, Eagle quotes him many times. I definitely think he had a good effect on Eagle coming on the show. He told us a story about how he went and bought pepper plants to act as banker plants because he was going to have his predators feed on the pollen that the peppers produce so that they can survive. And if a pest ever comes around, they go eat the pest and they come back to the pollen as soon as the pest is gone. And the pollen actually helps them reproduce more and more, whatever. Well, he got the peppers from a nursery instead of starting them from seed. And sure enough, the peppers he brought in ended up having pests on them. So something that he got to be a pest preventer ended up being a pest.
Super highway.
Yeah. Vector is the word I was looking for. It vectored his garden, and unfortunate situation, but I definitely encourage starting from seed. Even like Smiley, you were talking about, you just got some seeds. I love when I hear people starting stuff from seed. I think when you go get a start or a cutting, nothing wrong with that from the nursery. It definitely gets people started a lot quicker. But I think their heart is more connected to it when they start it from the seed and like go through the whole process.
Yeah. I was going to touch on that rosemary comment. I just heard Nick from Rooted Leaf the other night talking about some benefits of rosemary and shit. That might be something too.
It gets me fucking high. I swear. You walk past it, you pull a little bit of it off, rub between your hands and smell it. It gets me more high because I'm already stoned, but it gives me more of an entourage effect because it's got pinene and all sorts of different terpenes in there. And it's just an amazing smell. It just like makes you happy and more alert. I want to say cheers to Meaulflower. I haven't seen you in a long time, and good to see you.
Morning, Jack. Morning, Smiley. Hope you have a good time. Everybody have a good weekend.
Brother.
Cheers.
Terps in the morning, brother.
Eagle. Everyone have a good weekend.
Yes, sir.
Not really.
You if you get up on, two wheels and try to be fucking evil Knievel at your age, come on. Come on.
The funny thing
Hey.
is, you weren't even here earlier, and we were
You know,
already
like-
ribbing him for the same shit.
You're like the bionic man, SoCal.
I used to think I was, but now I'm not.
You know?
You
You're
know,
better off becoming the trainer, really. You need that training job is for you.
Right?
Yeah.
So Cal, I'm in your camp. We are still. It's just slower recovery time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't bounce like I used to back in the day. Back in the day, you hit the ground and you kind of bounce right back up. After like 40, when you hit the ground, you just fucking stick.
You're bugging.
So I'll be fine though. I'll be back on the bike in no time.
What you
Fair play to
smoking,
you for
Meaul?
having the balls to keep going. That's it.
Collagen protein, bro.
Don't kill you only makes you stronger, right?
Right?
That's what
Take a glass of
tell
collagen
myself.
protein every night. 1 glass of collagen protein every night, bro.
Well, no, here's the weird
Meat
thing.
and
Is
get
like,
collagen, protein.
Get all this beautiful hair back. I was bald before.
dude, no, I go through like
all
almost
this
3
fucking
gallons of
hair.
milk a week. So I got really strong bones.
Mhm.
It's just the muscle around those bones is all fucked up.
Couldn't grow hair before or fingernails. No, I didn't have fingernail problems, but I was bald as fuck before. Now I just got all this fucking hair. 1 glass of collagen protein.
Now, Jack, aren't you? You're fully organic, right? That's all you use is organics. I think you were saying that in your Instagram, right?
Haven't posted to Instagram in quite a while, but
No, on the live. I asked you in the live, and you're like, "Yeah, I do." I think you said you do only organics, right?
yeah. No, I've been recycling the same soil for like 3 years, maybe 4 years now. It was a Michigan-made mix, which is an organic base. I like them because Swan actually went through the process of getting everything tested for heavy metals and other stuff. A few other people do that, Jeremy at Build a Soil and others, but there's plenty of great soil out there as a premixed base. It got me through a runner, and then I got another bag to get through another run. And each run I went through, I was like, I'm not throwing this stuff out, but I put it in a garbage bag and put it back in the box that it came shipped in. And I was like, all right, fuck, I got to figure out a reamendment recipe. And I hit up Spartan Grown, who also grew in the M3 base. I was like, what was your reamendment process? So he sent me a little list. He's like, hey, I'm actually doing it right now today, so I'll just write it out. And he sent me a little step-by-step. So I took his, and I've kind of like added the Greenstalk twist here and there, like a little bit extra worm castings, more than he would use in Bokashi, but he uses like mycorrhizal in the hole, as well as insect frass. Basically, you put the used soil into the pot and make a hole. In the Earthbox's case, I basically take the 2 trowels or whatever that I have, stick it down in there and pull the old soil out, just that one little block. Everything else I leave no-till, so it's kind of like a low-till. I pull that block out and then just transplant in there. And then you top dress with earthworm castings, as well as Build a Soil craft blend and gypsum. And then if I'm not using a plastic mulch like the shower cap, or recently I've been using just garbage bags and taping them around the Earthbox, I'll use a bunch of rice hulls on the top. But I also mix, my addition is like adding Bokashi from Bokashi Earthworks. Shout out to Brandon. I think it's good stuff. And then there's a few other things that I'm probably forgetting. I could send it, DM me if you want the list or whatever, but it's
Now,
been
do
working
you-
well for me.
Do you do the whole worm farming thing? Because it's kind of like Eagle said, where you kind of have that cobiotic relationship where you can kind of take care of everything on your own, so you can grow your leaves, and then when you're done, feed them to your plant or your worms, and then have your worms feed your plants. I just don't know if it's going to be efficient.
I was like this close to setting it up. I did all the research and I was like about to do it, and The other thing that has to be symbiotic with is happy wife, and that was where she kind of drew the line. She thinks that it's gonna be like disgusting. Even I was like, it's not feasible for me to have it outside where I'm at, and to have it inside would be problematic with the cats and everything. So we've got a place locally called the Center for Environmental Innovation, where they've got really good worm castings. But since the pandemic, they've been shut down for that. But other than that, if you go to Tractor Supply, you can get what's called Terravesco, or there's a bunch of places you can get it. They ship it right to your door if you go on. It's like Terravesco, VESCO, Feed the Soil. They're featured in like the biggest little farm and other things, but they used to be called Sonoma Valley Worm Farm. And Clackamas Coot, who a third of his mix, he based his soil mix on the Cornell mix, which is 1/3 compost, 1/3 aeration, 1/3 Canadian sphagnum peat. His 1/3 compost, he uses all worm castings or vermicompost. And one of the only ones that I've ever heard him give like a nod of approval to that is commercial was the Terravesco, and it's a California-based company. I like to transport. It's not local necessarily, but keeping it in the U.S., keeping it in California if I can. And I tried their stuff out. They've got like I think he invented, the person who like started that thing. I don't know if he invented it or if he's just got a bunch of them, like the flow-through reactor kind of worm castings. They've been testing their worm castings every 2 months for like the past 4 years, and they get the exact same nutrient content, exact same levels of like the main two beneficial bacteria. So I really like that one. It's a more consistent product than what I get locally, but I like to use both when they're available. But I just love organics. I don't think you sacrifice too much in terms of yield. I think if anything, it's a slight bit slower in veg and growth, as far as my experience. If you don't have a perfectly dialed in soil, like Brandon Rust does soil testing, does tissue testing, and sap analysis, all that shit. If you're doing that, I think side by side, it's going to be pretty similar speeds. But as like a home grower who's kind of doing more like the build a soil way, where I just kind of like hit it with a broad swath of organic inputs and just give it like the buffet, pretty much guarantee, or to the best of my ability, that everything is there that needs to be, without doing any testing. And like you can re-amend with, like if I'm noticing they're getting a little bit yellow and I'm not seeing a good enough amount of nitrogen, like I'll use like an amino N plus product. Or if they're just generally not looking like they're able to uptake the nutrients, because I know there's plenty of them there, I'll just hit it with micro products like Micro Plus. Or I've even used Recharge. I use that in my transplants. I've ran out, I can't find my mycos. I've been using Recharge because it has mycorrhizal fungi in my transplants.
Hell yeah. Happy 420, everyone.
Cheers.
So
Cheers.
with my original outdoor bed, the 4x8, when I originally built that and filled it up with soil, half of the soil that went in there was used dig roots. And then,
I just realized I was rocking it all by myself all this time. I didn't mean to cut you off. So
No, that's all good. But what I've been doing with that is every time I harvest something, I'll just do a chop and drop on the plants themselves, and then put a little bit more compost over the top of that. And that soil this year is fucking phenomenal. But I also went to good old Uncle Jim's worm farm and bought, 5,000 red wigglers, and they got buried into that garden bed as well. And I dedicated a certain little spot right in the middle of the bed where up until Smiley gave me the idea, I was digging a hole in the same spot every time to feed the worms. And Smiley mentioned something about dropping a bucket in there with a bunch of holes in it and just using that to feed the worms. But what I ended up doing is getting some corrugated like drain pipe with a bunch of holes, pre-drilled in it. Drilled the holes out bigger and stuck that down in there. And that fucking soil in there, it doesn't matter where I go in that garden bed now. If I dig down, 2 inches, I'm pulling out 3 or 4 worms out of every handful of soil. And I'll tell you what, I have never had healthier looking plants than I do this year. And that even goes for my little volunteers that popped up out there.
Worms are like magic, man.
Worms, man, they make the world go round.
Yeah.
Is that Cheddar Bob?
Just like these WEedNerdWorld hats. Disperse them throughout the universe. Thank you
Are you
very
at the new
much.
spot
Good
now,
on you.
Cheddar?
It's awesome. It's warmer than my North Face hat, dude.
You're coming to us from the new home?
No, God, no, not yet. Nope,
Oh, okay.
nope, no internet, no nothing set up yet. So I still have quite a ways to go with moving stuff from here. So probably May 1st.
Well, either way, congratulations. I saw you and your lady. Happy moment. Big step in the life.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for you.
Adulting. I held off as long as possible. No more Peter Pan. Well, bouts of Peter Pan, but you know,
I don't
for the
believe
most
that for a
part-
second.
For most part, I've had my shadow sewn back on. So
If you lift up your shirt, I bet you're still wearing a Superman or superhero underneath.
Jack, you wouldn't be wrong.
Okay, well, at least we've still got the same Cheddar.
Just
Just because you own a home doesn't mean you've completely changed on us.
I need
Yeah,
an
it's sold out
eagle.
entirely.
I need an eagle tattoo compression shirt. He needs to like 3D print his tattooed body and then transpose that onto a compression shirt.
You need the tights for it too on the leg.
Yeah, exactly. I'll show up on the Halloween show in a fucking leotard.
I want mine to be one of those, like when you were a little kid and you'd get like the wrestler outfits and they'd have the really muscular upper bodies, but it was like foam
Right.
padding. It was very obviously fake, but they had like six packs and like big old chest chiseled in there. But
like
with
my
all
dead-
Eagles tattoos.
My Deadpool costumes like that. It's like this big, all muscles.
We all roll up to some cup that was supposed to get shut down in the forest or whatever, all rocking Eagle full body sleeve.
Yeah, we all show up looking the same. We're like V for Vendetta. We just all look like
It's
Eagle.
just
We all
fucking
shave our heads and stand backwards.
I just
All right,
need to get
boys.
rid of the beard. It'd be not
Think
too
I'm
far
gonna-
up top.
I think
It
I'm gonna
makes
get
me
out of
think
here.
of-
I wanted to just hop in, show my plants, enjoy my 420 smoke with a great community. But appreciate you having me up.
Peace and love.
Anytime, Gigi.
Hey,
Cheers.
Gigi,
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good to see you, Gigi.
have
to
a
see you.
wonderful
Have a good
morning.
one, man.
Get lots of sleep.
Us talking about pretending to be like Eagle made me think of there's this new TV series called
so
The Dropout about that girl Elizabeth Holmes who made Theranos, that giant like medical fraud. They said they take a drop of blood and do all this blood testing. Well, turns out they're like diluting the blood and running it on like regular machines and saying that their machine was doing it, and it really wasn't able to do any of what they're claiming. Essentially, they had like a party for one of her birthdays or some shit. Like everyone was wearing a mask with her face on it. Just like it was super creepy.
That is
But-
creepy.
Yeah, funny
Is
in
that
conversation. But
That like billionaire woman that just went to jail, they made a show about. Like,
yeah,
she
I don't. Did she get
frauded
sentenced
out
yet?
like the whole community or yeah, I think she did get sentenced.
Okay, I knew that she was found guilty, but they were like waiting to like she can do up to 20 years, I think. But yeah, she defrauded like Walgreens. She had like FDA approvals and stuff. Like she definitely pulled off a pretty large scale.
Pull off a
Con.
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, for lack of a better, yeah, sort of a Ponzi scheme pretending to be a business.
Hi, Smiley, nice hat.
You guys are twinning.
We're
Yeah.
twinning.
Oh, how's the
Black
project?
sweatshirt.
Smiley and Eagle. How's the DOA project going?
Good.
I'm getting ready to pull mine here in next week. I should be taking it down and chucking some seeds, letting her dry, chucking some seeds.
Yeah, I'm about 4 weeks
Keep
from
coming.
pollination, so
And remind me again what cross? It's a Colombian cross to
Jack Skillington.
yeah, Skellington Jack was the song that he fucking always sent Eagle. It's a good one. It's different from Endo Dope. It's a lot different than their typical flow. It's kind of more in your face.
Yeah.
Hardcore. I like
Hey,
it though, man.
Stoney.
I love their music.
Oh, did you
So
just
looking
clear out?
forward to
Cheers, Cheddar Bob.
Yes.
Congrats on the house.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Got an extra room there for me, right?
I got a couch. I got a
So,
garage.
did anybody else, when they looked at the new house, I looked at it and there was something about the yellow gable and the color of the house that I thought, man, that just seems fitting. It just seems fitting, like it was, called or meant for you. To be honest with you, it looked like one and one to make two.
Well, here's a funny story. So we went and looked at the house, and we were like, everything's getting bought up, and offering listing price isn't cutting it anywhere in this market now. So we didn't have any extra money to put on top of listing price. So we were like, oh, well, we'll write him a letter, right? So the wife wrote this letter. It was like, hi, I'm so and so, and this my wife, and we're blah blah blah, and my family's from up there, and she mentioned the name, and we ended up getting the bid. And the real estate agent told us that the letter was why they chose us. And in the letter, when I told him who my grandmother was, my grandmother babysat them when they were like 5 and 7 years old in that house.
It gives me a saying to, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Yeah. So, just coincidence, my grandmother and my grandfather are from that area. And she saw the house and she's like, is that the Grant house? It's like, yeah, I think that is them. So yeah, pretty cool. Full circle story. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's super cool. Full story.
And that's like the stuff that happens in small communities, like that. You wouldn't really find that trying to buy a house in Sacramento or
I will say in LA, I have a buddy who's a real estate agent, and he has told me on more than one occasion that letter has been, even when somebody offered like up to $10,000 over, enough to sway a seller, because they're like, hey, this person's going to buy it, flip it, or this person's going to buy it and demolish it. Where
sometimes it's not just about the money.
There. No, it's often not.
It's about who they want living there.
Yep.
So yeah, we everything just seemed to culminate at the right time. So one of those.
Good on you, because the market is right now kind of doing one of these, because shit. Materials are expensive.
Yeah, neither of our credit is like exceptionally fantastic. So we got a little bit higher of a interest rate, but it was still under what it would have been before it went up.
Hey, I'll let you feel a little bit better about it, whatever it is, minus 7.5%, because that's what inflation is. So you're really, it might be negative because our money is worth. So whatever you got your fixed, hopefully a fixed mortgage for 15
we got
or 30 years, presumably
4.75.
So you got negative 3%. You're basically getting free money right now, and during this first year you're profiting 3% on that loan, because cash is worth 7% less because inflation. So I personally think that's like a great deal. Pay it off slow. Fucking cash.
Well, when you explain it like that, Jack, it certainly does sound like a great deal.
Generally, until it's even, 4% is reasonable. So as long as it's under like 7 to 9, like what you could get in the market, or with shit inflation right now, like it is, I think it's a sound choice. Like, just happy for you. Good people deserve good things to come around.
I appreciate that, Jack. It's very
nice. Those interest rates are going to go up. They have to.
Are they even going to offer variable rate anymore? Is that even a thing? Isn't that what fucking did everything in?
They do it with cars. I don't know if they're going to do it with homes. You're right. It did. That is what,
Yeah.
08 got
Well,
fucked.
it did us in, but they were also just giving loans to everybody and anybody.
Unqualified people. You're right. It was
Yeah,
a combination
because-
of both. But dude, it was more fucked. The variable rates were like, hey, you pay nothing for a year, and then it's like 30% on.
Yeah, it goes up to 22% or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they had the variable, but what they had was the interest free. So you are basically paying on the back end of that payment instead of the front, where you're paying more interest and it lessens. You start out
so
paying
people
none of
get
that
into
interest
a
back,
house-
and you're just paying this little payment, and then it keeps going up. But
Yeah.
then you also had the variable rate, where if it bumped up, then it would bump up even more. So it was going to go up either way. But by the time it was all said and done, I mean, 3-4 years down the road, you could be paying 4 times what you were normally paying. So if you're paying $1,000 a month, you'll be paying $4,000.
Crazy.
Okay, so, and then again, they're qualifying anybody by using that system. They're qualifying, anybody that was, to give an example, my ex at the time, she was making maybe $20 an hour. We were looking at getting a $320,000 home. And I was like, I've sold many homes by then. So I was giggling, like, because she was just going to do it. I was like, I'm not going to have any part of this. I'm not buying anything in this inflated market. It's coming down. I saw it coming down. Just on my end, because when I'm not working, and I'd already been through this before in the 90s, it kind of did that. It tanked in the early 90s and then started back up again. But it wasn't as bad as this last time was. But it's going to happen again. Full things happen again.
I was going to say, do you think that we're at that point right now? Because I hear a lot of people saying pre-pandemic, it was about to happen anyway. Like the market.
No, it was happening anyways, guys. It was happening.
And then we pumped a bunch of money to save us from the pandemic. And that has floated us for a year or two, but the recession is like imminent, so to speak.
I mean, I don't know. I just tell you this, from 2012 to 2016, I did not work. I'm a union man, could not work. There was no work for me. I was a residential electrician at the time. There was nobody building fucking houses that were taking union workers. So I did no chance of getting work. I could have went non-union, but the pay that I was going to get doing non-union would have paid me enough money to pay someone to watch my kids, which didn't make fucking sense to me. To go put money in some non-union guy's pocket, which I'm taking a risk now by doing this, because if I get caught, I could get in trouble. If they wanted to, they could, boot my ass out. So it was, so then I went back to work, and it was spotty for a minute, and then things were rolling, and it was like overtime. The next thing I know, I'm on the 3rd tallest building in the city of Chicago. And then the election happens, and the new guy that gets in that's supposed to be on my team, within a month or two, I'm getting laid off again, and here we go. No work. And jobs that we were, and this was again pre-pandemic, there was a job that I was wishy-washy. As soon as it was COVID, job gone. Okay, that's it. We're not going to do it. They had an out. So but it wasn't going to happen anyways. They were trying to back out of it. The job was delayed by months. So it's just kind of the same repeated patterns that I'm seeing that was happening. Okay. It's not as drastic as it was, but we're going to have a downturn, and there will be some, people that are probably got their hands in a couple fingers into the pie too many. So
it's going to be as drastic. The Fed is has to raise interest rates.
They have
to. They've lowered.
It's not even that, but the rate of inflation, Bob, on everything else, it has to follow. It always does. I don't know the economics behind all the math. I'm sure there's people in chat that know all this shit.
Start saving.
I'll say this,
your
you don't
bricks.
You don't know you're in a recession because it's like basically two quarters of economic downturn. So if you're currently in it, you don't know until after it happens. So it'd have to be back-to-back bad GDP for the whole country. And
These
it's the same
times-
over here. It's the exact same over here. The prices in houses in the last 6 months, just locally, 10% higher. You know, in 6 months. So anybody, you know what I mean? Anybody that bought 6 months ago is already, you know what I mean?
Fortunately, we were
So
only
it's a bubble. It's been a bubble constantly. We only have to look back, you know.
the thing is,
We
people
were-
always need a place to live. So it's like you're either going to buy or you're going to rent. And a lot of
Yeah,
people,
we
if
were-
you're not investing, you feel like you're kind of getting fucked if you're just renting.
we were only
Yeah,
like
these-
$4,000 over the general listing price of the town. So I think we had to have made it in just under the bubble.
I just got to ask Stoney, do you ever do work outside of your state, or is it too hard to get like contracting licenses and things like that in other areas? Because I know
Yeah,
like where
no,
I'm at,
that I would
there's-
have. No, through my union, I haven't traveled. No,
Okay,
I've
'cause
just
I was gonna say,
traveled within the state.
there's always fucking work out here, no matter how shitty the times were. Like even at the worst of the worst, there's people built. Like it almost seemed like it ramped up during the worst times for us when lumber was expensive, copper was expensive, everything was fucking expensive. There were people building like a motherfucker. It's like they redid every single fast food joint. They're fixing up all people's houses or doing additions. I'm like, lumber is like creeping up to the price of gold, and people are
Right.
buying fucking sheets of fucking just I
Yeah,
don't know.
but what people weren't going on holidays, okay? So everybody that had that little extra, whatever, 10, 15 grand, pumped it into
Good
their
point.
house. They
That's a good
pumped it
point.
into all them jobs that she wanted to do or he wanted to do. And that's where, you know what I mean? Everyone I
great
know done something to their house. Like they would completely renovate it, you know.
You're locked up. You have to look at it all the fucking time.
You know, we all done stuff because we had time to do it at home. There wasn't, you know.
Isn't
So
that what
all that
everybody did
generated
back in
views,
the?
that made it trying to get lumber was, you know what I mean, drove the price up there instantly because the normal person was going out and doing DIY. So it has a
so I was
huge
just
knock-on
gonna
effect, you know.
speak to
Dave-
Jack. He was saying that people were banking sheets there. I know where I'm at. Unless you bought the package from the lumber yard, you are limited to how many sheets you can buy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I think that's 2 bunks max if you're a contractor outside of, like I said, by actually purchasing the house package from them, you can only bank up 2 bunks, 160 sheets. And that's max. If you're lucky to get that at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
And we're
and
That's what's happening with a lot of contractors. They can't afford to be going in at today's prices. You know what it's costing them to daily get to work, what it's costing them to run Jenny's, all that stuff. It's, you know,
Yeah, the gas costs go up, the
everything.
wood cost goes
Yeah,
up.
like, so you're out of money straight away. So you got to go back and say, look, you know,
How do you
Yeah,
quote right now?
that's
You
what
can't-
How do you quote a job?
People doing
You
work.
can't find a contractor right now that
Yeah, but they don't want to touch it either because it's so expensive. They don't know what they're getting into.
not here. You can't find one that isn't, busy until August,
Oh, yeah.
September. Like every contractor in my area is fucking slammed with business. Slammed
like in
with business.
2005, the big push.
Yeah, because we have tons of
Huge desperate push
since the
to just
pandemic.
get everything done at once. In 2005, 2006, by 2007, it was getting spotty. And all of a sudden, things were like. I remember going to one job site, and this guy's like, "Oh, it was brand new, man. They only had 30, 40 homes up, and this was like 400 homes, 2 years worth of work." And it was solid. This one's solid, man. This is people bought these spot. This is sold. They're digging holes. They were digging holes everywhere. One day it stopped. Just no more fucking tractors moving. And next thing I know, 2 days go by and I don't see one backhoe digging anything. And it's beautiful outside. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on? And then I'm getting handed a fucking check. Sorry. What do you mean? That's it. Not going to go any further anymore on this job. Really? Yep. Stopped.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump out. I don't want to ruin the conversation.
Land safely, Smiley.
You guys.
Cheers, Smiley.
Careful on your knees.
That was a good one, man.
Cheers, Smiley.
When you land, you're really tall
Oh. All right. We'll see you
from
guys.
from jumping out. Get it?
You know, it's a good point, though,
Unfortunately,
because
It's that
we're
time.
all behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready to go. I got to get shit done. So
I just wanted to jump off and jump on and show my trophy. My trophy.
Appreciate it. You look good in it, brother.
love it.
I wish I'd
It
have
made
got
me
him out earlier.
It made me very happy to wake up this morning and wake up next to you, Eagle.
That's weird.
I don't know
Every-
what to say.
That was a little uncomfortable, Bob.
Hey man, that's what I do.
Jeez.
That's what I do. So with that,
That's why we
good
love
night.
it.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon to everyone.
Yes.
Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Cheers,
Peace.
Cheddar Bob.
right on, man.
Much respect. Cheddar. It fucking makes me laugh, man.
Have a good morning, everyone. Eagle, Robert, yeah. Everyone, be good out there.
Much respect, sir.
Cheers.
Right on, man.
Miguel.
Have a good
Love
day.
you, brother.
Yeah, I think
So-
I'll be the next one out the door. You know,
Oh,
gonna
hey,
go put my
SoCal.
fucking- Yeah,
SoCal. Fuck you.
fuck, I'm about to get SoCal'd. There you go. He did.
You got a good one on us yesterday, though, so Cal. If you went back and watched, we were like, man, he did. He got. We didn't even. You got us. We didn't even see it coming last night. So cheers to you. Or
Oh, that was the whole
night
point,
before.
right? Yeah, but no, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go put my balloon of an ankle up and fucking ice it up. So I will catch you guys on the next one. So
Man.
Eagle, fuck you for having us. Chat, fuck off. Greenfingers, you're a fag.
Fucking, I heard you mention it earlier, Jake, so I'll tell you a funny little story. Maybe you think it's funny, maybe you won't. First of all, Ty, you've been really quiet. Cheers, brother. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Second of all, I think it's cool the way this fucking HD camera has caught this light like frozen. You know what I mean? It's like frozen there coming out of the tent. If you turn it, you can actually see it, but right there for some reason, it makes it look like it was fucking frozen. But oh, what happened last night, man? After the guest, man, which was a bummer, total bummer. But hindsight, I think Canmates asked the other day or yesterday, would you rather know the future or the past? And in hindsight, it's probably a good thing the show ended probably where it did. I fucking kind of tested my gut a little bit yesterday between the morning Cajun sausages I had, followed by the super hot buffalo wings, followed by the habanero salsa before the show. Oh man, did my gut hurt so bad. I mean, literally fucking pains. Oh man, it was rough. It was seriously rough. Followed by a weed nap that kind of got out of control. That's it. It was like, I'm just gonna smoke a bowl and lay here in a fetal position for a minute, which turned into, oh fuck, it's 5:30 in the morning. So that's kind of what happened to the Weed Nerd World last night. I was giggling when you were talking about fucking growing spicy shit because I love spicy shit. Sometimes it can haunt you, brother. So, cheers.
Wow. Well,
Hopefully,
on that note, Eagle, thanks for having us. Jack, cheers. Greenfinger, cheers. Chat. Oh, wow.
cheers. Oh man.
Everybody go find the seed. That's hilarious, Eagle. fucking, I did the same thing, kind of, not that many mixed stuff, just one meal, but I was kind of glad I didn't have the pain downstairs, you know.
Oh, I'll do it again. I'm a sucker for the pain.
I use the Asian the hot oil. So like don't try that shit. It's a lot different. It's not like regular chili sauce. On that, peace, Jack, Eagle, love you. Thanks for having us on.
You too, brother. Anytime. It's what makes the world go round.
Can't believe
It's
there's
been nice to
two of
see
us.
you.
It has
Oh.
been. This is always good hanging in the weed nerd world. I had a great time, as always. I'm probably going to watch a little 1883 or Yellowstone. Actually, you know what? I'm watching Tombstone. I've been into my cowboy westerns lately. Fucking shoot 'em ups. Interesting shit. But yeah, always good hanging in the weed nerd world. Thank you for having me. I think I was the first one in, last one out. Fucking now Eagle's about to play some tunes.
That's definitely been a while since that's happened. For sure.
I know. Monday
No,
night's
but-
the night. Monday night is the night because, or Tuesday night. I guess it's Tuesday morning now. My Tuesday morning's pretty open, so I can handle staying up till 2. No problem. But it was great to share it with you all. I must admit, one of my good friends locally, I feel like I love Smiley, but you know, sometimes when your friends have issues with somebody, then it seems like you kind of have issues with that person. And one of my buddies locally here is Matthew Gates, and I just feel like Smiley was, and maybe there's something more to it, but some of the comments he was leaving on his Instagram were just pretty aggressive and disparaging, and calling into question his professional nature and things of that nature. And I didn't want to like call him out and like ruin the mood of the show, because I think sometimes it's better just to go and say it's really not even my battle to fight. And Matthew would probably fucking cringe that I'm even bringing this up at the end of the show, but I don't know. I wish that everybody could just get along. It sucks when people, your friends, are in fights with other friends, and then you feel like you can't necessarily like hang around and talk, because then that one person might be feeling like, I don't know. You never want to rub people the wrong way, or at least I don't. I just I'm all love, you know. I try to be, at least, and I'm just here for the smoke, the growing, and the great conversation, and it's a great community. So I will let you go, and you can respond to that if you'd like. But I know you got to get your shout outs in, and you've probably got some work to do in your garden, and I know it's a long list. I thought about one day on a Tuesday typing out all the names, because I did that once a while ago, and it's just crazy to see how many people are on there. I have to listen at like 0.25 to keep up with the typing, but as many names as there is, you rock it through it pretty well. And cheers to you for shouting them all out, if and when you do. Not to say that you're obligated to, like tonight or any other night, but it's awesome that you show that love and respect for the community. Not many people do to that level. It's hard to. I hate to say sometimes my show we don't
And
acknowledge the chat at all.
one thing you'll notice about that list is there's the people that I clearly disagree with on that list, but I respect to shout them out still night after night, because even though we may not see eye to eye at one point or for one thing or another, I do respect them as a person and their opinion. So that's why, you know, I do still do that list. You know what I mean? There is good and bads. And hopefully at the end of the day, you know, we do respect each other's opinions and their knowledge, you know, because that's the only fair thing, you know. We're entitled to our opinions and all that good things. So at the end of the day, I hope we, you know, upset this one thing at many nights, because
Totally
things
agree
do
with that.
have gotten heated here at one point or another. We should be able to shake hands, smoke, and have another conversation tomorrow with respect. So, you know, Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
I agree 100%.
That's what it's all
We're all
about.
adults. We're all adults, and we can be mature about it. And I just, when people start making like personal attacks and being aggressive on social media, I'm just like, that's the last thing I want when I go on social media. It's like I try to avoid the negativity. I'm looking for plant pictures and people asking questions about growing, or like, you know, what seeds they're popping or what plants they're growing, food or cannabis. Like, I just, other negativity in my life, I just don't need from these outlets. And I love that it's generally 99.9% of the time a very positive one. So cheers to that, and I'll take one more puff, and I'll go chill with all the chat while you say your goodbyes.
Cheers, brother. Try to get some music going here to the shout outs. The list is getting long. Wish YouTube would be a little bit more friendly about what I can play. I actually was rocking quite a bit of shit the other day. That Johnny Green Thumb. Lex for Lexus the other day. And I missed it, man. I gotta fucking double up on that. It's kind of crazy right now at time. It's something that a Ben I value and wish I could do my part in saving.
One thing before I run, Eagle, is I do want to formally invite you. We haven't made a date or anything yet, but when we have a cheap home grow cup or meetup or whatever the hell it ends up being, live podcast, whatever we can pull off and get people interested in. The plan right now is for Vegas, and I've talked about it on the show a few times, planning. So I would love it if you would come, if you're able to. I don't want to like force it on you, but we're going to try and make it on a weekend that's not like expensive to travel, and that's not busy with other events and things like that. So as soon as I know the date, I'll let you know, and would love it if you would be able to attend. So I just wanted to formally offer you an invite and let you know kind of the rough whereabouts. And I'm planning roughly in October, so just to
Lots of good reasons to go to Vegas. Oh yeah, a lot of great people right in that area. So good choice on that.
absolutely. I mean, Ty and Johnny Cannaseed, two that come right to the top of the head. But there's such a great cannabis community around there, and all the weed nerds, and just people that are going to come together. And I really look forward to it. Meeting people in person is like one of the best parts. Like I love the shows, and when you finally get to meet the people in person, it really everything clicks. You know, you've known each other for so long that you just become instant friends. It's like people are pretty real for the most part. If you've hung around the community long enough, people will get a good idea of who you are. It's tough to fake it if you've been around for a long, long time. Kind of wear your heart on your sleeve and are honest and open with people. So, peace and love. Catch you on the next one that I'm at. Might not be the next one, but I'll be around. Much love, you. Peace.
Have a good one. With that being said, that does wrap up this episode. Holy cow, 6:15. Much love to everybody. Much love to Jack and Mr. Smiley, both of whom put in a lot of time in the show, both of whom I respect very much. I don't know what to say about all that. Bygones be bygones. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Smiley. Welcome back from Texas. Hope you like your custom hat. Smiley's the only one. There's a lot of hats that went out, but only Mr. Smiley's got embroidered with his handle on it. So cheers, Mr. Smiley. I look forward to your organic takeover, hopefully very soon. Very soon. Of course, YouTube's not going to shoot me any music right now. What the hell? Awkward. Just go with the deadheads. Just go with the fucking deadheads, I guess. A little bit of monster so I can microman through this fucking thing. Cheers, CK. Chilbert, UK. I need to put you on the list right now before I forget. I meant to earlier.
Everything that I said I am, keep my shit tight, man. Motherfucking Hoover Dam. And not cracking anytime, so my mind said it's time to this round will be mine soon. Shut down a high noon, sharp as a high fool, crash like a monsoon, style like a costume. I'm constantly awesome. Voice fresh as spring, on my beats about to blossom. Caution, get out a bit when I'm moshing. My friends are a high and nice, and I got them that way. We bows on parade, my bows full of weed, man. Higher than a California raising, hit me through the grapevine.
Sub cool D's house tank, Mama Love 710, Scarecrow 420, Green Thumb Bum, Christina MG 889, Unplugged 705, Medical McCullough Cuddy, Rick T, The Rebel, the 19207, Baby and Selena, Dave's not here, Chimes Spook, Greg Walker, Mendo Dope, T Dog, Dung Beetle, Red Eye Jedi Grows, Mother Nature, Justin Conway, Duckweed, Run Boy 7426, Justin Gooder, Stingman, Okie Grower 75, Corey Treble, Michael Wallace, Mo Vision 420, Who's Your Cat Teddy, Taco Down Slug, Rick S, In the Bushes 827, James Siemens, Kevin Hahn, World's Last Hell, Pat's Fan, Bio Mentor, Dirt Road Dude, Ken Shiva, Jose Ramirez, Red Eye Rustler, Dab Goblin, Dr. Buzz Lightyear, Acetone 710, Canuck, Ken Cooey, Genetics, Stabby Tanaze, Fooder, Dirt Man Dan, Keith the Black Sales, Mr. Bocilla, Simbrium, Garden, Rasta Bob, Rasta Jeff, Soul Root, Small Tubes, Tyler, Frosty Buds, Norm, Michigan, Micro, Ouija Buds, Dub T, Roy, Big Jar, Grows, JC, Modern Genetics, SoCal Weed Nerd, John, Last PPJ 15, Green County Grower, CJ Apple, Perfectly Imperfected, Dollar Tree Grower, T1 Productions, St. Grow, EOA Grow Meds, Miss Nudie Grows, I Gruesome, Johnny Candacy, Nutrient Shootouts, Naughty Nicky, Zoe and Savage, Slammer, Pixel Monkey, St. Bernard's, Observation Booth, Clover 420, High Spy, Aldridge 25, Miss Moo, Stu Moo, Mo Grower, the Cannon Crate, Loki Grows, Sus, this guy Burton 79, Polish Hammer, Midwest Outlaws, Voodoo Ultras, Fresno Nerds, Cali Connection, Wolverine Grow, Big Jar Grows, Jimmy One for Life, Laid Way Back Farmer, D Block, MMP, Nations Creations. I'm still a little speechless on that shit. Amber Lonic, Psychedelic Warlock, Artist, LD, Sir Cirky, Big Rob, Big Dave Nip, Big Dave 420, Brent Window, Big Ed 1961, Manawati G3, The Green Click, JK Triple G, Mr. Sprinkling, Brittany and Tyler Teasley, Hope Farms, Lisa G, John, Be Too Crazy for You, BGW, G420, Dr. Budswell, Perptum OG, Anthro, Sensimedia, Anthro, Just Space 420, East Coast Pro 420, Sir How, Trey Malone, Keep It Real, Hagerton 420, Zeb Zeppelin, Audit Everywhere, BT Double D, Bingus Grows, Green Puffin, Man, Alex Boykachev, Self Life, School of Crop, Cause I Love It, Green Mountain Grower, Southwest Okie, Real 100, 212, Andy Man, Mandy Family Farms, Page Farms, Meaulflower, Ryan Henderson, Me, Green 13, New Sailbot Wins, Kingdom Aquaponics, Indra, Michigan Native, Mary Jane Medgardens, Dreamer 77, Double D, Bad Bunny Nutrients, Mr. Green Pots, Mr. Green Nugs from 619 to 664, Spaniard Kruger, Jones at Grow, Pop G Grows, Raz Amy Dro Grows, Cass, the Grow From Your Heart Podcast, Luna, Green Men Flock, Jeremiah Miranda, Stony Creek Lost Art, Mr. No One, LG 420, Giant Mike, rest in peace, brother. Prometheus Soul, Jason Isone, P. Win, David Colby, Mason 662, Shruggy McScroggins in the fourth, The Goddess Grows, Kelly Burrows, Chad and Bad Family Farms, Polly P. J. Org, Kevin Jodry, Mike Honcho, J. Huggins, UDA, Greed Tree Hunter, Kush Cloud, Joshua Seamsland, Organic Home Buds, Warren Nelson, Cam Wood, Maine Mystic, Show Love Always, Kelly Stone, Texas OG, Chuck Norris, Sarge Hus, Claire Fresno, Happy Guy, 311 Mix Up, Kinder Grows, Evergreen Hay, G Front Tree, MMJ, Matt S. Ball, Dragonfly B, Justice Man, Travis Wallace, Lucky Mike, Seattle Chronic Seeds, King Chronic, Titan for Bosco Seeds, Django Gas, Wassel Filet, John Smith, Tom Troico, Smoke King, Raz, Pop Little, Soul Roll, Spiky Pilot, Oscar Green Jr., Matt Silbert, Indoor 11, Stephanie V, Shark Pulley 989, Von Braun, Sovereign Garden, Stoner Nation 420, Joe Y, Bugs 1, 313, Grower, Painted Lady, Frank Booth, Jay Myers, submit to chat, Mr. Manny D, Bag C, Dr. GGC, Jeff Shredder 9 and 11. Dutch Grows 420, Scallywag 420, Skillbull 1, Medgrower 1, Empire Brady Co, Frigoli Lost Leaf, Liam Mass, Danny Dangle, B Bear 7, Ali Noble, CK Tom Trinidad, Loney Jester, Smoking with Small Town, Tim Mess, Mr. Lacy, Rafter Grows, Rob, Automation is Freedom, Robert Hazelton, Door Michigan Court, Double Tap Farms, Mr. Grum, Green Thumb 420, 808 Brooding Prospects, Canna Bus Driver, Hating Life, Kenny 710, Operation Grow T Ben, TM 42696, Rude Nuts, Hammered, Dr. Scrambles, BB, Moonmox, GHF, Double J, Bio Green, Stealth Grower 56, Hanky Sinky 420, OG, KP Ganja Nana, your mama, Georgia Joe, Roy Rodriguez, Beat Growing, Nature's Best Nugs, Killer Bee Grows, Ganja Whisker, Husky Gardens, Nut Tree 420, Dr. U, Soil for Life, Bully for Life, Jeffro 420, Beavis 698, Dr. Franklin Booty, Goddamn Unbaked Ted's Test, the Rippin' Fat Boy, Jack Greenstalk. In response to your invitation, if I come to Las Vegas, it would come to hang, not to be on that show. 420, Booms Farm, Charlie Farms 420, Aldridge 25, Aldridge 25, Smiley's Garden, I love you, brother. JT's, Misty's Nugs, Smoky Grove, Frazier, Grokoski, Twisted Roots, Faded Farm 420, Jeff Dorowski, Genetic Memory Farms, Evolve 420, Cameron, Mr. Bagsy, Jill Carter, Mystic Marks, Mystic Grower, Ginger Snaps, DTE, Rose, Rick Wolf, DLP, 2372, Ned Denver, Mike Denver, Sergeant Pepper 420, Ken Trooper, Blind Cat 420, Light Up Again, Tim, UKSIF 420, Buddha Boy, Devin Shipwreck, Medical MJ, Budsville, USA, Resurrection Prophet, Chris Martinez, Dink Man 420, Dink Man Dan, Red Center Farms, Good Life, Tony Bell, Cheetah B, Most Hated Grower, the Major Gen 420 Army, the American one, W Digger 714, Sharates, Kineo, Genetics, Mountain Skies, ready to hit that hot fire, Chris Mertz, GM Save for Oppie, Sergeant Live, Septic Cam, Finger Lakes, Fanatics, Ridge Pad, Dozer Moon, Southern VT Grower, Choose Medical, Jared Bear, Plus One Mushroom, Secret City, Pioneers, My Little Tent, 2042, Spacewalker, Christian, Tree Mump, T. Barrington, Heart, Soul, Homegrown, Mike B, T. Dwayne, East Coast Will, Heidi Day, Galactic Gardens, John Smith, Elliptis, Financial Farms, Pacific Northwest Seeds, Roscoe, Paul Lemon, Holco, Trench, Rita's Juicy Life, 420 Grant Manual, Mary Bond, Semi Sizzle, 9-inch Colas, Chris Woo, DK Trades, Vision Guru, The Kind Brew, Cannon Nation, JJ Wires, Dan the Indoor Man, Gromies Homies, Hamilton Grown, Clip Smoke, Keystone, Canaflag, PA, Big High 710, Eugene Greenleaf, Ace Drew, Hustle, Fred Darn, Carlos, North Arizona Beer Grove 420, No Sellout, Jesse White, Castaigne Yeti, Introvert Tonight, So J, Vixen Robin, Mr. Killer 8 Mo, James Buttercream, C-Dub from NorCal, The Pharmacy Seed Bag, Deadhead, Smokey 616, Curtis Mayhem, Matt Myron, Morte, Rick Heyman, Stephanie Dorr, Antenna Seeds Web, Carius K, Mike Rubel, Drew Bear 420, Maxi 751, Lawrence Gonzalez, Slow to Get Up, Stu Moo, Popco 719, Bake with Shake Baby, Old Smoke, PWC Grow Buds, Laura Wasp, Mr. Weed Blunt, Old School Grower, Chad Westport, Honcho Glory, Florida Nugs, My Little Piece of Heaven, Puget Sound Squeeze, Goliath Grower, Richard T, Crispy Wannabe, Mr. Soul Food Spectrum, Gone God, Larry Hanson, Real, 2,000 years of tradition, Mr. D. Connolly, Pimp Jam, McBody Face, Show Me Satisfied, Fuck Google and You, Going Well, Canadian Restore, Poor Door Farm, Call Right, Zephyr, Humble Farms, Tannery Farms, Sheldon Scene, Oak Park Gardens, Hale 9782, Skunk Packs, Martial Artist 2012, Microslave Happening, Danny McDizzle, Medically Fit, KGB, Robert, Mr. Greenfingers, Motherfucking Thomas, Ryan Chicosa Plenty, Monkey Balls, Andrew Chabby, Bobby Lynn Meats, Trench Digger, Mr. Mac, Tony Like Blowing, Bill S. Weed Peace, Tater Delicious, Minty Country Roots, You're on Fire Genetics, Earth Creeper, Big Ray 420, Teeny 1-on-1, Buds and Hazard, Mr. Club 14, Beater B Man Farm 616, Not Love North, Max Crewman Ruby. Wob Wobby, Sean Bits, Rescue Ready, Roadside LLC, Notorious Nugs, Magma Seeds, Father and Son Trimming Tutorials, Dub T Dank, Jose Ramirez Perez, Talk with the Hut, 420 Woo Bug, Cheapo Man, TR420 Community Videos, Detroit River Rat, Louis Garcia, Monk P, AJ Everyday, Captain Bob, Cheddar Bob 13, for Maine, 420 Med Grower, Cookies Coots, In for the Grill, Jake Kendricks, Captain Bob. I think I doubled up on that. Backwoods, All Good, Sally Mansell, Adam Skankin, Chanel Simpson, One Smoke Away, Ganja Roads, Kazoo, Aaron and Burnett Shrooms, Miss Thinking Stinking, again a repeat. Angel Studios MG, the 420 Grow Tent, Paul T. Elliott, John Fleming, Dankabet, Tribal Flower, Polly P. Seldom Seen, Elevated, Lenny Organic, Sunman, Chiba Sunny, Jeff Pollock, Ricardo Sosa, Dan J. Earth Friendly Farming, Candy Forest Farmer, Fuck All That Be, The Misfit Grower, Jason Line 512, Snake Eyes, Northern 4466, Jason Grayson, Stoner Baker MD, Stony Creek, Rust Sonic, Fringe Dweller, Tarzan Superman, Old Bandit, Hermit Hash, Freebird, Mo Grower, Matty Gar, Simple Man, Survival Time, Tim Blake, Golf Coast Chronic, Stink Fat, Calero, Harley Grower, Jen God, Steve Collins, Todd Kendricks, Property Maintenance, Sharpie, The Island Hayes, Scuba Steve Speaks, J.R. Green, Property Maintenance, Randy K, Steve Collins, CCDR, Wardrobe Farming, Randy Grande, Pip 1000, Ace Blue 3223, Wake Up, Captain Freedom B, Puffer Smiles, 15 Digit, Miskin Ganja Moose, Hash, Fred C, Super Bob, Broski 808, Weekend at Bernie's, K-Bag, Justin Station, Strong Style Organic, Sippy, Manic, Honesty, K-Hal, Meaulflower, Brent Boo, Todd Kendricks, Newtons, K&T, Chris D, Two Serum, Photon, Fro, Daddy Dread, Robert Matthews, Ancient Soul, Grown, Kevin Jiu-Jitsu, Canna Health and Happiness, Berserk 215, Collab, Low Cut, Abu Chenley, Mo Manic, Mez, Raz, Fancy, Helen, Huge Janus, James T, Atomic Spoon, Miss Jill, Big Daddy, LT Gardens, High Flower, 420, Lobster Brust, Brother, Mother Tree, Maine, Red Pill, Yo Boy, Roy Boy, Aesthetic, Shannon Gibbons, Ruhan, Rick W, Comfortably Known, One Smoke Away, The 840 Show, Richard Lamb, Red Pill 710, Canvas for Zoop, K Rolling, Worthy Buzz, Logan Man 81, Oil and Flower Podcast, Entourage Effect, Warren Dixon, Pink Lady Luck, El Mondo 420, Surrounded by Keith Ferrari Farms, Fringe Dweller, Single Fathers, Happiness Without Good, Richard Forbes, David Pimenta, B4 P Funk, Nick and T, John Reese, What About Bob, Fritz, Patty, Dave Neal, Bergman, Green Puffin Man, Bree Dungley, James Sean, Sarge Gross 818, John Lanes, Carolina Ruth's Sister Golden Air, Dana L. Dancaruno, K&F Gardens, Blank 1030, Choose One, Only Feet, Farmer James, Crypto Dope, HIP Grow, Matt Green, Chronic Wonder, Sunrise Grow, Top Floor Genetics, Mole Vision 420, K2 Cannabis, Jesse Fisher, My Dog Nelia, Alex Hardy Gear, Daniel Gross Photos, Mitten Grows Med, Sunrise Grows, Lexi Brittany and Koo, you know I love you, No Limit 916, Scrumpy Toe Alchemist, and Canna Minx, Soul Born in Dixon, Ross Joe, Dirty Alex D, Dirty Orchid Face, High Power, Thunder Dan Propagation Station, John McDaniels, Lisa Mary, Sarge Groves 818, Blaze Daily, Pride Piper, Perpetual, Eagle Proud Warrior, Still Smiles for You, Frank Usada, the Date Duchess, Tino Kelly Maxwell, Captain 420, CFAT, What About Bob, Ilchester, Pop Shroom, Sean Gorski, Jen Doe, Dungeon Gangster, THC4, PTSC, T Barrington, Nacho Grown, Swamp Camp, Bolero, Cannabinka, Besta, because John Doe, Mr. Manny D, Canna Ferrari, 420, AB Normal, Frank Guerrero, Bear Free, Jay Brent, CK, Brown Guy 420, Pachyderm 420, Burning Tree, Maine, EA, Gray Sun, Grown 207, Hydro Daily, HempWithGG, Jamie Reed, Supreme Grape, Stoney Rockafeller, Caveman Cannabis, Bruce City, Zen, Hawaii Sustainability, Midnight Roots, Dead Sinners, Knuckles, Mudgo P, Polly B, Quick B, Nimble, Bud E, Kilowatts, Michael D, 4889, Disbanded Brothers, Mycelium Man, Joseph, Grace Medicine RX, Great Keep and Chief, Hydro Daily, Concerned American, Cannabis 411, Freedom of Speech, Dr. Jointsworth, D Street, Ganja Seduco, 710 Alice Upside Down, Dusty Stevenson, Victoria Badouche, What About Bob, Sacred Gardens, Vic, Gus Gross, Slick Brick 8, Dog Collins, Dave in St. Louis, Amu Watts, Castaigne Yeti, Ed Red, MN Grown, Uncle Elmer, Off Grand Church, Christopher 54, Last 54, Matthew SoCal, Silver Illinois, Man Beaters, Jake's Proof of Genetics, Third Course Genetics, Stoner Dude, Joel and Judd from North Sour Genetics, Carol Ann, Mr. Cry, PTA, B13 Live, Ruby on Perfection, XX Elite, GP, Uncle Stoner, Crispy Treat Christian, Growers Paradise, ID Grown Kitchen, I See Need, Decoy Bacon, Mr. Scotto, Fresh Break One, J. Allen, Big Bob Grohl, Jolly Canna, Australian Grohl, Jucka 420 Guard, Daniel Phillips, Mr. Nowhere Man, Selling Sally, Silly Seashells, Mike Steve, 562 Ganja, James Christopher, Green Ghost Genetics, Senzo, B. Benson, Astro Charlie, Sativa Smurf, 4GTC, A. Bush Doctor, Astro Charlie again, Dirty Hole Garden, CK, James C. Weaver, Growing Ohms, Corey Gagnon, Green Hill Farms, Hillbilly Herbs, Chasey Worm Chirps, Skunky Brewster, YBF, Larry OG, Apollos Farms, Spartan OG, Johnny Green Thumb 710, Michigan Wildflower, Seldom Seen, Gambler, Todd O'Connor, DP 710, Caribou TV, Virginia Herbs, Red Purimo, Equilibrium Genetics, Trophy Truck, Skyway, Kevin O'Donnell, School of Crops, Stupid Trucker, eBay Bud Trender, The Glass Girl 420, Ted Nugs, Matt Javine, Greg 77, Ted Nugs, Mr. Skunk 8 Glassworks, Beast Mode 347, Mike Atomic Skeeter, JMA 182, Justin Gucci, Webcam, Dan Sconey, Baby Fat, J Cuda, Pip 1000, Dan Stoney, Sunshine Farm Daydream, Matt Star, Mountain Laree, Scotty Nowhere, Justice Mick, Not Sure, Red Bear Farms, Two Dog Seeds, Butt Plug Bungaloo, Luck E, Claude E, Goslin, some meditation music in the background, which I'm probably going to need right after this fucking show. Man, I am suppressing some shit right now. Oh, all right. Chose the wrong one.
Am I the only high one?
Maybe. All right. Lucky, Claudia, Goslin, Mouty World, CT Gardens, Benny Ben, Up and Am, Mr. Mardu, Curse Tube Farms. What in the hell does this thing got? The fuck is this thing playing? Can't play that. Nothing like awkwardness on top of awkwardness on top of awkwardness on top of awkwardness. Couture 5 Sentimental Green Goddess, Alberta Cannabis Grower, Earth Creeper, Don Hazelhurt, Matt Ness, John Gall, Coonward, Robert Hazelhurt, Rittenhouse, Pedro Dizzy, Joey Berger, Mr. DeVille, Mikey from Maui Goats Genetics, Missy Dankster, Dragonfly Earth Medicine, Thunder Dance, St. Louis Sungrown, Super Bob, Dutch Gross 420, Tough Impact, Mr. Tree, Green Gypsy 1, Das 247, Dirty Rotten Imbecile, Steady Gains, Gingerbug, Sovereign Hay, Paco Smartphone, Brad, B. Ridley, Bell F, Tough Impact, Crazy People Doing Stuff, Weight High, Multiple Divisions, Patty O, Bears Growing It, Home Invaders, Get No PD, Blue Kiss Gardens, Crack Babies, DWC, Shorty for Life, Token Party, Supernatural, Brittany Cole, Sacred Gardens, Rosswood, Joey One Love, No BS, Penny Pebbles, Rippers, Frank Rowdy 420, Chef J Reese, Dog Days Garden, Clarine, Corrine, Big Force 54, excuse me, 420 Green Garden. My heart goes out to you and your father. That's all I can say to you. Positive vibes go out to her. Also with Johnny Cannaseed, who's got a surgery coming up as well. Hearts and prayers to you, brother. Hopefully you're feeling well. Luke Cell, Pearly Baker, Christ, Trichome Jungle, Diggity Dank, Laura Al the Beastly, Laura Camp, Swimmer 22, The Grow Boss, Jim Clemmer, NB Closet, Med Grower, Blinded by the Light, the Weed Fairy, Inner Grow No, Miss Vicious, Doc Callis, Mr. Toad, Uncle Rick, Mr. 12 and 12, Cassie the Firebreaker, Mark Leafly Hill, Panda Cat PK, Urban Remo, Red Dragon Brothers, Journey of a Grower, Dabcat, JG, GML. Shout out to you for supporting the show. Leafly Wiggly, Cam the Cannon Man, High and Type 420, P and G. Shout out to you, the Humble Local 2.0, Nicotine, K Good Farms, Zachary G, Sayer Wolf, BU, Eddie Alvarez, Turf Wizard, Paisley Farms, S.103, Drewzilla, MK Ultra, Tilbert, CK, last but not least, Sweetest 207. Oh, I don't even know how much of that you heard. If you heard any of that, it says my fucking audio was malfunctioning. Oh man, I still just am shooken by Jack's response there. With sleeping dogs lay. That had nothing to do with anybody involved here or this platform. But you're entitled to your opinion. It is what it is. I respect you and Smiley. Cheers. To the rest of you guys, thank you for tuning in. I greatly respect everybody on that list. Tuning in, helping out, being a part of the show. This is the end of your day, your journey. Please get some rest. If this is the beginning of your day, your journey, please take time for a little bit of self-love, some meditation, a little bit of reflection, I think. And along the lines of your Tuesday, please take time to do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. I'm a living, breathing example of that. Anymore, so is this show. It gets by, has been getting by with a little bit of help from the friends for a minute now. For a minute now. Thank you, Smiley, for kicking me in the ass all these years, keeping this going. I appreciate all you guys very much. Your opinions, your knowledge, your presence. I love you guys. I'll hold out for that last minute. Just want to say cheers and happy 420, you I love the kind of being hung there with the song. Happy 420, guys. Wow, that fit, didn't it? That played well. Fuck yeah, cheers. Happy 420, guys. I'll see you tonight. I'm not sure if I got a guest, hopefully. If not, I'll try to come in early. Later, guys.